Turn the volume up, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score. Raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Podcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the CanesWear podcast, Thursday night edition, January 29th. And we have a full show tonight. We are ecstatic to be here. Gio is here, of course. Amando is going to be popping in a few minutes. And it's a great day to be a Cane, just off of our national championship game, our amazing run to get into the playoffs. And then, as we know, beat Texas A&M, beat Ohio State, and then beat Mississippi, only to fall short. Everybody's pumped. Everybody's excited. And the whole question was, are we going to get a quarterback? Who's going to be our quarterback? Actually, remember, Gio, when everybody was talking about when we first got in the playoffs, we're going to be terrible next year. We're not even trying to get any players. That's all we heard, it seemed like. We're not going to get any players. Mario's just worried about, he doesn't know what he's doing. We no longer trust Mario. And look what Mario does. He basically retains most of the team. He's got the whole running back room coming back, which is amazing. He's got most of the receivers coming back. He's added key position players. He's got 8-year veterans coming back. And then he goes out and gets the number one quarterback in the country, in Mensah. And he gets his wide receiver comes with him to join Malachi Tony and everybody else that's returning. So, if you're not excited right now about this Canes off season, then I don't know what to say. So it's a great time to be a Cane. We're on the CanesWear podcast. Like and subscribe. The FTSN network. Bobby and the guys do a great job. We're going to answer as many questions as we can. Hopefully not be here till 1 a.m, but we will. And we're going to go ahead and answer your comments. Bring the fun today. We're so excited. We're so pumped. It's been a great playoff run. And what are we, day 2, Gio, now? Day 3 of the it seemed like it took forever, but day 2 of the Mensah era. So let's be excited. And again, we've got the great Gio here, and he will answer any questions that you have. We'll be reading questions and just looking for a fun couple hours tonight. How we doing, Gio?
I'm doing great. Miami's got their guy. It was quite a drawn-out process. Almost 2 weeks in total since he officially entered the portal. But as I've mentioned several times, I mentioned on the private board, I've mentioned things here on the show. It was always likely to end up in a settlement, which you saw take place 2 days ago. And reasoning for that was Duke was up for a lot of exposure. And the reason why I say exposure is the factor that until the language is changed in these contracts for players and NIL compensation today in this era, the schools don't own the players. They are free to go whenever they feel like. So, for example, the Washington situation with DeMond Williams earlier during the transfer portal cycle, they kind of just spooked the kid. Mensah stuck to his guns. He said, no, I'm leaving. Like, I want to go somewhere else. I want to go to Miami, basically. And that's what he did. His wide receiver took a bet on himself, too, in Cooper Barkate. And he followed him into the portal. I know the two are very close. They're both from the West Coast area. They're bringing that West Coast style to the Miami offense this upcoming season. However, I do want to mention something, though, about the whole timeline of the quarterback situation, which I absolutely agree with you, Brett. I remember Miami fans getting upset and worried, saying, oh, well, Brendan Sorsby, he's going to go to Texas Tech. And, Mestamaker, he's expected to follow his coach to Oklahoma State. And yes, Miami did have interest in those two. They had interest in Sam Leavitt too. Sam Leavitt even gave his word to Miami that he was going to come, and he kind of just left them hanging at the 11th hour with no responses or anything. He just kind of left them on red, which, that's fine. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm just speaking statistically, I think Miami got the best of the bunch. It's quite ironic how this worked out, but statistically, yes, they got the best guy available. They have the number one quarterback returning to college football, whether it's P4 or G5. Well, now they're calling it the G6. They have the number one guy overall in production. He threw for nearly 4,000 yards last year. He had 34 passing touchdowns. That was second only behind Indiana's Fernando Mendoza, who played extra games this year because of how far Indiana went into the playoffs as well. You're talking about the guy who won the Heisman this year, the guy who was right behind him in terms of production. He's coming to Miami. And this guy, by the way, Darian Mensah, I know everyone – I agree. The ACC tiebreaker rules are weird and how Duke got in there and everything, but they did win the ACC championship, something that Miami is still looking to do. You have a quarterback on your roster now that just won it this past year. So I will say another interesting thing to this factor is I know Darian Mensah had interest in Miami around this time last year in the transfer portal. Miami went in a different direction. They wanted to get a veteran guy, which they ended up landing in Carson Beck after that whole process. However, his camp was the one that was initially interested in Miami. This wasn't just Miami itself. Like, I think it's so funny because I've seen it from Duke fans and just college football fans in general that they're like, oh, Miami always tampering or whatever. You know what? Everyone is tampering in some sort of way. And really how this all goes down for the most part, if people have been following along for quite some time now, most of this stuff is facilitated through the agents. This is not players talking directly to coaches. Well, you have the situation that's going on between Clemson and Ole Miss right now for that California linebacker, where Dabo went on a whole 10-minute rant about tampering and the transfer portal and whatnot. But 9 times out of 10, it's basically facilitated by the agents and the other schools, and players know what their market is even before they enter. Because how do you have situations where guys commit to a new school in less than 24 hours? This happens a lot. So enough about the tampering stuff. You know what? Miami has the number one quarterback in terms of production coming to their school and their team for this next season. He's going to be here for spring. He's enrolled in classes, by the way, him and Cooper Barkate. Everything's all set. They're going to participate in spring. And another thing, Cooper Barkate actually, aside from Malachi Toney, the top 5 wide receivers in the Power 5-4 that are returning this next season in terms of production, Jeremiah Smith, Malachi Toney, Cooper Barkate, KJ Duff, and Deuce Robinson from Florida State. So Miami has 2 of the top 3 receivers in the entire country in production returning or joining this team for next season. And you return Mark Fletcher and the other talent that you've brought in through the transfer portal offensively, that you brought in Vandrevius Jacobs, who is a deep threat receiver, Cam Vaughn, who has a lot of potential, 6'2", 6'3" receiver that can actually run. You bring back a young talent like Joshua Moore. You have Dalen Upshaw on the roster. You bring in 4 freshman receivers. 3 of them potentially have the opportunity to play some form of snaps this year. I've heard a lot of great early reviews on Samorian Wingo since he joined the team early during the playoff run. There's a lot of buzz on him. You bring back the nucleus of your tight end room. Elijah Lofton will be back. Luka Gilbert will be another year improved. And Gavin Mueller, I mentioned this on this show over a week ago, and people are seeing it now after what he posted on X. I heard a lot of early rave reviews on him. He posted, I think it was yesterday, he was measured and weighed in at 6'6", 260. Brett, this is a tight end that has a verified 4.5 40-yard dash, laser timed. Miami's got weapons on offense. And you mentioned the running backs returning too. You get Mark Fletcher back, obviously, which is huge, who now holds the college football playoff record for rushing yards in a career. You have Gerard Pringle coming back, Jordan Lyle coming back. I know a lot of people were wondering what's going to happen with Lyle. Shamar Brown coming back. Those three guys, teams were trying to tamper with them. So it's absolutely huge.
Amazing. They all came back.
Higher backfield returning. And one last thing I'll mention, just offensively. I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Jordan Lyle in some type of form, and maybe some people are not. I think people forget this. He had a really good offseason coming into this year. He was declared running back one heading into the Notre Dame game. Has his ankle rolled up on his high ankle sprain he dealt with throughout most of the year. Tried to give it a go again when he came back several games later. It was never really the same, and they shut him down for the rest of the year. If he can regain his form, that backfield, I think it's arguably the best in the country. No, I don't want to be hyperbolic here or talking crazy or anything, but I mean, from just a production standpoint and what they have returning and what they've done as a group collectively, I think it's possibly the best running back room in the entire country. So you have offensive weapons everywhere. And offensive line, yeah, Miami's going to have to figure out their best five. You return two starters in Samson Okunlola and Matthew McCoy. You have Ryan Rodriguez, who's been with the program for some time. He's going to compete at center. They feel pretty confident in what he can do. And he was also one of the when Miami would go to a 6 or 7 offensive lineman formation, he was the first one in every single time. So he's played significant snaps here. It's not like he's never seen the field. And S.J. Alofaitulu, who played quite a bit as a freshman this year, was sort of a pseudo fullback, H-back back there in the backfield in terms of heavy sets near the red zone. Then you bring in the number one recruit in the entire country, Jackson Cantwell, who will compete at tackle. You got to figure out the other tackle spot, whether it's Matthew McCoy who goes there. You bring in a transfer, a 6'7" transfer in Jamal Merriweather. There's a lot of good reviews throughout the past year on Max Buchanan, who will be in his second year with the program as well. I think Miami will figure it out on offensive line, Brett. I absolutely do think so. And I know some people have had to worry. They're like, oh, well, you know, there's going to be some type of step back there, whatever. Yeah, you could possibly expect some type of step back because they'll have to gel together early on. But I think the schedule's set up a certain way where that is going to be very possible. They're not going to be thrown into the fire immediately. And the other thing with that, I think people are thinking this is still 2022 when Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal did not have their guys in that room yet. They have their guys. These are guys they have picked. They have selected who they have brought in through the portal or through the high school ranks. So I think the offensive line is going to be fine. Is it going to be as good as this group this past year? Maybe not, but that group was pretty elite in terms of pass protection. They had the lowest percentage allowed of pressures on their very own quarterback and Carson Beck. So that was a pretty special group in itself, but I think this one will be fine too. So Brett, your thoughts offensively?
Well, right now I'm looking at the 4 running backs coming back. Is Wheatley coming back as well?
Yes, Wheatley Humphrey's coming back. By the way, the portal officially closed for Miami. There is no more players that will enter, at least in this window. Now, if you have any Xavier Lucas situations or kids who try to unenroll and then enroll at another school, that's an entirely different story. But in terms of like the official transfer portal, that's it. The official
transfer portal is off, except for if there's any. We never know any late changes, but. And we did have a kid we just picked up, right? The portal was pretty much closed, and we just got somebody else. We got the kid from Florida State, right?
Yeah, Conrad Hussey, who I'll speak about him more in depth in a little bit, but the several ties there in terms of him being a South Florida kid originally. Miami really wanted him out of high school, really, really, really wanted him. And he was also coached by Jason Taylor as defensive coordinator at St. Thomas Aquinas when he was coming out of high school.
Well, no, about the offense, yes, I'm extremely excited. I know people say, 2 years ago, after we lost to Syracuse and we didn't get in the playoffs, it was like, we're never going to win again. We're never going to win again. I love bringing up is when people say, because, either in the store or in on social media, we're never going to win if we can't win without Cam Ward. And my favorite saying was, we won 5 championships without Cam Ward. We probably won't win one again. He was great, possibly the best individual quarterback we've ever had, athlete at quarterback, and the year he had. But so we go from that with Cam Ward and no defense, pretty much, or a defense that was not good as they could have been. Then last year we go from a top defense and a very good offense with Malachi and Fletcher and Pringle when he was in, and Brown, and we go with that. And this year now we're getting a quarterback who's not. We're not going to compare him to Cam Ward, but he's that type of guy. He scrambles around a lot. He's not a run first guy, correct? He likes to go ahead and scramble. For a guy like Malachi, he's going to love that because he's going to get every opportunity to get open, and everybody else we have too. So there's going to be extra chances for these kids. Obviously Cam would always find Restrepo or George or something like that, but I think our wide receiver room now is much more talented than it has been in the past. It probably maybe even more talented than last year. We've lost a few kids, but we've got a bunch of others. I looked about 90 passes or so between Trader, Marion, and CJ Bailey, right? They caught about 90 passes. So we've got the new kid who can catch a lot. We've got other guys, and then we've got the freshmen, and then of course we've got more who I think will blossom a lot more this year. So I think those will be taken. And we carried the ball about 450 times, I think it was, or 400 times. Fletcher only got 144, Brown about 100. I always think about, we have all these running backs, Gio. How are we going to divvy up this ball? But we know that guys don't stay healthy all the time. Fletcher was out a few games. Fletcher, for the greatest year he had, he ran for 685 yards in the regular season. He ran for what, 570 in the playoffs?
Yeah, he had missed a few games during the season.
But you think about it. He almost ran for as many yards in the 4 games in the playoffs as he did the whole regular season, even missing, because he definitely played in more games in the regular season. So
yeah, he had played in about, I think it was 9 or 10 games.
Yeah, so he almost ran for as many yards. He ran for 4.9 yards a carry during the regular season. He ran for over 5. Was it over?
Yeah, it was nearly 6 during the playoffs.
It's just amazing that he turned it up. And I know everybody's hoping for Mark so much. Obviously this was a family decision, not only for his family, but he felt like the Canes were his family, especially with his father passing and everything. This is something he had to accomplish. And when guys stay like that, you want them to win a national championship so bad. When Ed Reed stayed in 2001, he got the championship. When those Clemson guys all stayed to play defense, they just missed them. They won the championship. So you're hoping a guy like Mark Fletcher and others say, hey, we're here. I want to be here to win the championship. Because it's great to go to the NFL, but you can never take away a national championship if you can win it. And we know this year the national championship is on everybody's mind right now. We probably will be ranked in the top 3 to 5. We have the Heisman Trophy favorite. Cam Ward was not the Heisman Trophy favorite. He wasn't the Heisman Trophy either. He was the number 1 pick in the draft, but he was not even considered as one of the favorites. This year, we're going to have literally the Heisman Trophy candidate. When's the last time we had that? The favorite,
Been quite some time. You're going to have 2 guys that are definitely going to be early season candidates, Mensah and Tony himself. There's a lot of discussion behind Tony already as potentially being top 6 or 7 in that discussion itself. I will say this, just like one last footnote on this past season as well. I know several people have brought up, they're like, oh man, I wish, Bain could have got this and Mauanoa and that these guys could have won and back and everything. I absolutely get it. But it reminds me of like the same way people felt about, and I'm not saying it's a 1-for-1 because both of their paths were a little different, but that 2000 Miami team where I know back then at the time, just speaking to people, that there was concerns. There's like, oh man, losing Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne and Dan Morgan and how can we, and
never, then you look at guys and you think they'll never be replaced.
Yeah, that's why I think the transfer portal has sort of made fans feel like, in a way, like, oh man, well, like if we don't get one of these guys from the portal, how are we going to replace this guy? How are we going to do it or whatever? Before the transfer portal, it came from within. So yeah, if you're wondering about a certain spot or whatever, it's going to come from within, just naturally, organically. So look, I get it. I understand why people say that or whatever. They're like, oh man, we had these great guys and everything. And I'm not here to rush and say that, oh, I think Miami's D line is going to be better this year. I think they're going to be deeper. I don't know if as impactful yet. I'll have to see in the spring how some of these key guys like Lightfoot and Wilson and Blunt and Lowe, and we'll get into that. But I got to see how those guys look in spring together to kind of formulate my opinion. However, it's a deep group with that defensive line. I get it. I absolutely get it, Brett, why people feel that way. They're like, oh, we lost these guys. How can we do this again or whatever? Mm-hmm. It's really tough to replace Ruben Bain.
It always is, but that's the great thing. When you are a great college team, the Hurricanes winning 5 national championships in 8 years or 9 years, okay, from 83 to 91. Every guy doesn't play every year. I mean, how many people outside of the diehards knew who Andre Johnson was when 2001 came about after we just lost Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss, and somebody else?
He played very sparingly.
Very sparingly. You didn't know who this guy was. You don't know who a lot of them. They come out of nowhere. That's where you got to trust a guy like Mario, who not only gets him in the portal, but also has these guys as freshmen. We don't know. Joshua Moore can catch 50 passes this year. We don't know what he's going to do. I mean, he can have a breakout season. A lot of other guys on the line, like you said with Sampson. You know what? Everybody thought, is this guy going to ever play? And he did a great job filling in this year. He could be a stud next year.
There was several questions you're absolutely right, on Sampson for those first 2.5 years. And then I mentioned in spring, like, hey, he's starting to come along. People were like, oh, well, we'll see or whatever. He played really good this year. Really, really good. Actually, Miami ran the ball best when he was in the lineup. Like, he would rotate with McCoy. They ran really well when he was in.
Now, we talk about the offensive line. The biggest hindrance to our offensive line this year, especially in the middle of the season, we lost our 2 games, was penalties. It was turning 2nd and 4 into 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 9. It was penalties seem to be setting us back. If we can become less penalized on the offensive line, our offensive line is going to be so much better, just in that alone. The defensive line was great, but there were times we weren't putting a pressure on the quarterback. They weren't great all the time. Everybody was focused on Bain and Mensah. Now they got to figure out new people to focus on. Bain, since he came out, I remember he led the ACC his first year in being held. I mean, he was held every time as a freshman. The sophomore year, we know he obviously got hurt, and an injury can just shut someone down the whole year, even, not to be the same player they are. And last year, he was phenomenal. So we don't know who's coming in. I'm excited. We didn't know after Cam Ward left, could we go ahead and have another great offense? Our offense was, while it wasn't better, it did some things that the offensive Ward could not do, it seemed, because our offensive line seemed better. Our defense was much better. Now, how have we put together the offense with the quarterback, Darren Mensah, and the defense together? Now we put them together to go for it all. Because I know people's goals are not, I don't think anyone's goal is let's just win 9 games anymore. I don't think anyone wants 10 games. I don't think fans are going to be happy unless we win 11 games during the regular season. We win the ACC, and we get the playoffs, and then they're going to want a championship. I mean, fans, after you get to that point, you don't want to take a step back. So for better or for worse for the team, I think the pressure is more on Mario right now than it's ever been.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I will say, though, I think this offense is going to be closer to what people saw in 2024 rather than 2025. Obviously, ball control is great, and I expect Miami to do that against like the better teams. But I think Mario's cracked the code, at least after that SMU game, where you got to open things up. You got to air it out against these ACC teams. and you got a quarterback that can absolutely do that. Aside from all the other numbers I mentioned, Mensah being number one returning and passing touchdowns and passing yards in the entire country, he was the best overall quarterback in terms of deep passes.
Really? I didn't realize
Metrics last season. So I think we're going to be seeing some fireworks with Miami's offense. He's very accurate downfield. You bring in a guy like Vandrevius Jacobs, he's going to have a very specific role to be one of those guys basically creating separation downfield. A guy like Malachi Tony, everyone has seen that he could do that several times. And Cooper Barcade as well. Don't sleep on the guy. I know I know people will always throw out the comparisons. They'll say, oh, it's a Wes Welker or Braxton Berrios, whatever, because of his background. But no, this kid, he is an outside receiver. He has speed, and he has play strength as well, Brent. I've watched the tape. He could break tackles in the open field. He's not an easy guy to bring down. So I think that offense is going to be very excited. And one last thing, just kind of like the spring outlook for the offense as well. I think everyone has it figured. The quarterback is obvious. Running back room, we'll see how everything shakes out. Obviously, you get Mark Fletcher back. He'll have first crack at everything. But how does the rotation form behind him? And like what order? Is it going to be Lyle? Is it going to be Pringle? Is it going to be Brown? Or vice versa in that order? Receiver room, very obvious. You have Malachi Tony and Cooper Barcade. I know in the Shannon Dawson system, they like to play about 5 to 6 different guys at receiver. Who's going to be your third, fourth, fifth, and maybe your sixth guy in that wide receiver room after Malachi Tony and Cooper Barcade? What could that mixture be? Could that be Jacobs or Cam Vaughn or Josh Moore or Samorian Wingo? What is that going to shape out to be? Or Dalen Upshaw, who flashed a little bit this year as well. I think that competition is going to be really, really interesting. And a guy I think some people may be sleeping on a little bit, but I like him for the factor of how fast he is, especially official times as well. Vance Spafford. I don't know how much he'll play because I know he's technically considered a slot. He can play some outside at the C as well. But he's someone that I know Miami was really excited about coming into the recruiting class. He's coming off that injury his senior year. He missed most of his senior year. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the receiver. We'll see what else develops at tight end. I know people are wondering, like, is Luka Gilbert going to take the next step? Is he going to continue to play more? Is Gavin Mueller, the freshman, like just the early rave reviews, aside from the recent post, what his height and weight is, can he make some type of impact? And then the offensive line, how do they figure out their best 5? I think that'll be the biggest question of spring is what are those early formations? Who is lining up where? I think that's mostly the questions people are going to have going into spring.
No, a lot of questions, a lot of things we know, a lot of things we're going to be excited to see. So it's going to be exciting. Again, we are sponsored by CanesWear, the Spot Miami Fan Shop. Couple of things. I saw some people post about it. I mean, the rumor is true. The numbers have been changed, correct? Darian Mensah is number 10 now, correct, Gio?
Haven't had that confirmed yet.
Okay, so it's all right. So we'll see what happens on that, which means Malachi would go to 1. If that's the case, some people are like, well, I got the 10 jersey. If you got the 10 jersey last year, which there weren't a ton out there, maybe it is frame that for sure. One of the greatest season in Miami history, basically, for a wide receiver. Frame that. You won't be able to make a 10 jersey for Malachi again unless he goes back to that. So that is, people say, oh, I don't want to wear it. You're one of the guys that got it for the greatest season ever. That's amazing. That freshman season was unbeatable. And now you get a chance to wear him in a 1. A lot of players do change. He did play at number 1 at Heritage, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's and he came here and he couldn't get number 1 because of number 1 was to Trader, right?
Yes.
So, but also Mario has to go ahead and he has to be the person to say you get number 1. So you have to earn.
That's usually how it's worked.
So we'll see what happens there. A lot of exciting times, a lot of great stuff coming into CanesWear. Lots of new hats we just got in. We're getting more shirts and everything. Sold out of a lot of stuff during that amazing CFP run. So a lot of exciting times at CanesWear. A lot of stuff, exciting times being a Canes fan. Excited someone's going to pop up and be a star that we possibly never heard of or thought about, which is what makes college football so exciting. And it's the great thing about going into the end of January playing is that, spring practice starts in less than 2 months. And what is it, beginning of March?
Yeah, I've been hearing potentially the start date is March 4th. We'll see.
So March 4th. So in a little over a month, basically it's basically February now. In a little over a month, it's already spring football. And spring game is, I think, what is it, April 20th or April 18th or so?
I think it's the 18th. I got to look at
it. And then you've got a few months of the season. So that's the great thing. It's like when the Panthers won the championship twice, all of a sudden you win the championship. It's only a few months till hockey. That's even quicker. But here, we're so fast. Normally our last game that matters is November. Sometimes even October, it seems. Just out of it in November. So this is the great thing when you're a winning organization that the season.
It's a new feeling for Hurricane fans.
Totally.
I mentioned to some people the other day after the whole Mensah thing was done and official. I'm like, yeah. I mentioned, by the way, we're just a little over a month away from spring, and they were like, "What? Wait, what?"
Yeah, it's just so fast.
That's the beauty of winning.
That is the great thing about winning, because you win. The second you win, the transfer portal's on. It's been extended for you as your team, the Canes in Indiana, and then we're going ahead and saying, "Wait, now we just got our quarterback. It's January 29th. All right. We're in February, basically, spring practice, which everyone seems like they wait. It seems like it's months for spring practice usually. And Mario's got a lot to do, but I feel really comfortable, really confident, and really excited about that. So one thing while everyone's here, remember the CanesWear app. We're going to be doing a quiz next week, a new quiz. If you're on the app, you go ahead and it's going to be for some prizes and things like that. We're going to probably do a Super Bowl quiz too, working on the new CanesWear app. So go ahead, CanesWear.com app on the Google Store or the Apple Store. Go ahead and download that. A lot of fun things we're going to do. I guess that's all I've got for right now. Gia, do we want to answer any comments? Is Mondo out there yet?
He's not on there yet. Just defensively, though, I want to
let's go
really
defense.
quick. Just some of these additions. I think the most underrated addition, in my opinion, just from watching the tape and how he's going to fit Miami too, Keanu Davis, the defensive lineman transfer from Nebraska, can play inside, can play outside. I think in Miami's scheme, he's the guy that could potentially explode.
Really?
I think I don't know if he'll start, but I think he's someone that people are going to be sleeping on because they think like, oh, Nebraska or whatever. Like, who is this guy? He could play. And extremely high effort guy too. He's high motor as well. Doesn't give up on plays. I think that's what's going to really excite people. But he has the size too, Brett. He's like 6'5", 280. Just great versatility from him. You add him with a guy already you have in Armando Blunt, both being capable of playing inside and outside. I know Hayden Lowe can do some of that too. You bring in arguably one of the two best pass rushers in the SEC this past season in Damon Wilson. The other one was Prince Will Umanlian, who transferred from Ole Miss to LSU. But Wilson now coming to Miami, just an elusive prospect for Miami for many years now. They wanted him out of high school. He ended up signing with Georgia. Then he ended up leaving Georgia last year, entered the portal. Miami was interested, and he just kind of signed with Missouri right away. Miami didn't even really get the chance to attack that recruitment, but he blew up this past year, had a breakout season, was all SEC. I think if people are expecting like a Ruben Bain type of impact from him, I don't think that's fair. Just from what I've watched and seen on him, I think from a pass rushing standpoint, his type of production, it's somewhere in between Bain and Mesidor, like that type of level, in between the two. I think he's a better pass rusher than Mesidor. I don't think he's a better pass rusher than Bane, or like at least like impact type, like how he can open up things for other people. Don't think he's as good at setting the edge as a run defender as Bane or Mesidor, though. I think that was a very underrated aspect that a lot of people are not talking about what Bane and Mesidor did. Like, it's great, the sacks and the pressure, but
their containment was great as well.
Being able to play against the run the way they did, that's why I point to guys like Hayden Lowe and Armando Blunt. I hope both continue to take the next steps in their development. There's obviously quite a few flashes this year from Armando Blunt, but I think you need those guys to really step up to be big-time run defenders on the edge this upcoming season. And Marquise Lightfoot, who really came to life in the playoff. Like, he had flashes during the season, but the playoffs particularly, it seemed like the light was really starting to turn on. He had certain plays in that playoff, like even to the point, Brett, I remember watching it on the tape. This guy, they had him press Jeremiah Smith off the line. And then, like, I was just like, wow, I was amazed.
He's got speed like a linebacker, doesn't he?
Yes, tremendous athlete. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he puts together going into next year. There's definitely a ton of flashes from him this year. I think another year in the weight room is definitely going to help him too, just especially as like a run defender, so he's more capable of playing bigger snaps. You bring in, you return other guys. Like I mentioned, Hayden Lowe. He was expected to be big time in the rotation this year. He had that injury early. We'll see what comes with him in spring, but there's a lot of high expectations there. You return guys like Booker Pickett and Herbert Scroggins, who played some key snaps this year. There'll be some rotation guys for you. And a guy that really, really, really impressed people by the end of the recruiting cycle, Shari Charles, who happens to be from the same high school that Damon Wilson came from, Venice, Florida. A lot of people are really excited about him in the building. They think he could potentially factor in as well. And then just last things, defensive tackle wise, returning Ahmad Moten, I said it, I felt like was the biggest key piece for that defense going to next year. I know everyone brings up Bane and Mesidor, but what that guy is able to do on the interior, I mean, it's incredible, the development he's had, Brett. And the reason why I say the development, he was a late bloomer, late take in the class that he was coming out of from Cardinal Gibbons High School. Miami, everyone talks about all the 5-stars they have on the defensive line now. Damon Wilson, former 5-star, Marquise Lightfoot, Armando Blunt, Hayden Lowe, Justin Scott, who I'll mention in a second here, who really came on at the back half of the season. He's going to be a tremendous player. Having those 5-stars on a single defensive line, but Ahmad Moten may be the best of the group, at least returning for next season. The way he played in the playoffs, especially in the championship game, this guy, he could legitimately be a first-round draft pick. That's the discussions that surround him right now because he's returning for another year. If he doubles that performance from this past season again, he's going to be facing a lot of money around this time next year when he's ready to go into the draft. So I'm not worried about the defensive line. I know people bring up, the Bane, the Mesidor thing and whatnot. I think Justin Scott's a tremendous player, and I think we're going to continue to see that. I know Miami brought in Jarquez Carter. They're really excited about the freshman Kashawn Stansel. They think he's one of the best in the country. But just as a whole, big picture with the defensive line, I'm not too concerned about the competitions or anything because Miami rotates a lot on defensive line. So not really concerned about that in spring, but I just want to see what's their best grouping, like in the spring, like who's going to be your best run defenders, who you're going to be your pass rush guys. I'm not saying that they need to completely replicate the type of production that both Bane and Mesidor had together. I think this may be something a little more of a committee this year on the defensive line. I think there's going to be more rotation because Bain and Mesidor played a lot of snaps in big games. Like yeah, Blunt and Lightfoot would come in, but they wouldn't come in as much as other games. Like they kind of told Bain and Mesidor, like, you're out there, like go get him. And when you're really tired, then you can come back to the bench. But we want you on the field. I foresee more of a rotation this year for that defensive line, especially on the edges, a heavier rotation.
But Gio, last year, would you say if you had to rank Bain and Mesidor, these be like in the 9s probably? Nobody's a pure 10, but they'd probably be between 9 and 10. Their rankings, you think?
What do you mean, like in
like
terms
if you have
of
a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate their year, Bain and Mesidor separately?
Bain? I would give a 10.
Okay, so you give
He
Bain.
does not get enough credit because some stupid fans of other schools, they'll look at his stats and they'll say, "Oh, what's the big deal about this guy?"
So where would you rank Mesidor?
I'd put it at a 9.5.
Okay, so they had that great year. Roll it back 1 year. Bain got hurt against Florida. He was never the same. How would you rank them the year before, 2024, the Cam Ward year?
Oh, that's tough with Bain because of the injury he had, but maybe 6 or 7. But he was hurt. Mesidor probably about an 8.
Okay, so both of those players advanced quite a bit from 24 to 25.
Yeah, especially Mesidor. He got in better shape again because he had a couple of injuries along the way. He finally was back at his natural position. He was always an edge guy. He wasn't necessarily a full-time interior guy. And with Bain just getting healthy, that was the biggest thing. So I'm with you, Brett. I'm a
Jason Taylor there. And who's the defensive tackle guy again?
Damian Lewis,
former Cane. I mean, with both of those guys there, we may see other guys that had good years, Lightfoot, Moten.
I agree.
We may see these guys improve a lot. Not to say they're going to be as good as Bain and Mesidor, but the sky's the limit for all these guys. Where people are saying, like I said, Andre Johnson came out of basically, we knew Andre Johnson, but nobody really, he didn't get the publicity without Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss were getting. I mean, so now we saw these guys people come out of nowhere, from Jimmy Graham, Jeremy Shockey. There's always someone to replace. We can't say and discount the guys we got coming back because we are so solid there. Even though we don't have Bain, we're going to have Scott, who's 1 year older, 1 more mature. We're going to have Lightfoot. Our defensive line could possibly even be better than last year, correct?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a deeper group. I think there will be a little more rotation than it was this past year. I think some of that was also to do with some injuries that happened there. Losing Hayden Lowe wasn't the most ideal thing. He was going to be a big piece of that this past season. But I will say this, an interesting comment from Ruben Bain, and people could take it for what it is, but he told CBS after the national championship, he came to their studio and everything here in South Florida, the CBS contingent, and he told them that he thinks the defensive line group is going to be better next year than it was this year. I thought that was interesting.
That was interesting.
Bain, I've had the chance to talk with Ruben Bain personally quite a few times throughout the years. He's never been the type of guy to hype up things. He's a realist. He kind of calls it how it is. For him to say that, I thought was pretty interesting. So we'll see.
No, I think he's a team player. I mean, I think defensive line, we're set. Linebackers, how are we gonna compare linebackers this year versus next year? Or this year versus last year?
I think the biggest thing is you return Mohamed Touré, who, I'll be honest with you, Brett, I think he started getting more comfortable late in the season. Like there was definitely, it was something clicked. And I think people forget this. And he mentioned it on his social media recently after his most recent injury the year before at Rutgers. He wasn't able to walk for X amount of time. He had to relearn how to walk and everything. I think the hope there is, the optimism is that potentially you may be getting the guy that you saw on tape from Rutgers. It started seeming like it was getting there. towards the end of the season, especially when Miami was in the postseason. It's to me, Brett, it seems like when he knocked out that guy, that the receiver across the middle against Texas A&M,
Yes.
like a light turned on, and he was great from every game out. Like Ohio State, he was really good. He was pretty good against Ole Miss as well, and especially in the championship game, he was really impressive too. So I think the hope there is that, you know, another year removed from that terrible ACL injury could do a lot of good. Obviously, you hope he doesn't have another injury. That would be terrible, but another year removed, yeah, that's really big. I think a lot of people kind of ignore that aspect when some of these players have serious knee injuries. Not always are they the same that first year back. It's kind of the year after.
Yeah, Frank Gore, when he hurt himself, he was never the same for a year or two. And then look what he did in the NFL when he got healthy. So after, I mean, you get a debilitating injury like that, you never know how long. These guys are rushed back so fast now that, you know, they still may not be at their top game.
They return him. They're getting Chase Smith back. That's the expectation. He is cleared to get that medical waiver, actually, for, I believe it was going to be applied for the 2023 season. So that's experience there. He's had quite some injuries throughout his career. He's finally been healthy the past year and a half. He got his feet wet this year. You have a linebacker in Kellen Wiley, who they're really excited about. This past year as a freshman, played a lot of special teams. Cam Pruitt has been around for a while, who is kind of a chess piece of sorts, could play some safety, could play some linebacker, could play some nickel. The biggest thing with him is strength and conditioning, like getting his weight up a little more so that he could play even more significant snaps. A very similar situation like they've dealt with Marquise Lightfoot, just year over year, building that up. And I think two specific things I want to mention about linebacker. I know they're really excited about Kamal Bonner, who's returning, who he got hurt early on in the year. And that kind of derailed things, but he's someone they're expecting that they think he could take that next step, potentially starting opposite of Muhammad Toure. We'll see how that shakes out. But one last thing, Justin Edwards, I think I've mentioned this before in the past. I know I've mentioned it on the private board, is a freshman that Corey Heatherman is super over the hills for. How they think of him as a prospect, how they think of him as a player, size permitting that, you know, the weight is there, that the playing weight is correct and everything. I think he's someone that could really surprise people. And I can remember the last time that Miami had a freshman linebacker that was able to make a significant splash early on. I think he could potentially be in that conversation.
Now, what makes him so special?
The instincts, number one. Number two, he can actually cover. And number three, the closing speed as well. There's a reason why they went toe-to-toe to pry him away from Rutgers. And there was even some negative recruiting there from Rutgers. They were telling the kid some things, and it's a dirty game sometimes.
Of course, people are going to say, I remember we got him, they thought Rutgers. We're grabbing guys from Rutgers. It was like, you know, obviously, if they're not Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State, somewhere like that, we're thinking like, yeah, we got him from Rutgers. So,
by the way, is an absolute personal evaluation by Corey Heatherman. He wanted. Well,
he should know. Obviously, you know, it was a lot of guys out there that are fans that think they know a lot, and a lot of them do. A lot of us do. But if you're the guy that actually, you know, is the guy in the trenches for us, Corey Heatherman, you'd hope when he really likes someone like that there's a reason.
Yeah.
So that's the linebackers. What about the secondary?
Secondary, you return all your starting cornerbacks. So Miami basically has 4 starting cornerbacks. You're Xavier Lucas, Damari Brown, OJ Frederique. Mind you, the other thing I'll mention about OJ Frederique, very similar to Justin Edwards, the linebacker in that aspect. A lot of people said the same thing too about OJ Frederique because he was originally committed to West Virginia. And people at the time said, West Virginia, why the hell would we take this kid? Whatever. and then he turned out to be a freshman All-American. So be careful what you say as a fan. Just let the coaches do their job. Let them do their evaluations. I worked for the recruiting sites many years ago. They don't get everyone, believe me, they don't. So the 4 starting corners, Xavier Lucas, Damari Brown, OJ Frederick, Ethan O'Connor, all returning, which very similar situation like the running back situation. It kind of seemed like it would be difficult to hold on to all 4 guys, but they did. And you have a freshman who really impressed people this year in Jabari Antoine coming back. You have another that I know the coaches really like as a potential nickel, maybe could play some safety down the line, and Chris Ewald Jr. I know they really like him. I think a guy from the class who could potentially play early is Jalen Waters, especially from a coverage standpoint. He understands that very well. He's very advanced in that aspect. Cornerbacks, totally fine. Safeties, you return Zachariah Poyser and Bryce Fitzgerald. And you bring back Dylan Day, too, who's played quite some snaps here, has had a lot of special teams wow plays over the years. And you bring in a freshman that is another guy I've heard a lot of good early reviews on, J.J. Dunnigan. His father was big-time football guy, played for Kansas State back in the day. I think he had a cup of coffee in the NFL as well, from what I understand. They're really excited about him and what he's showing early on through the workout sessions. And you bring in Omar Thornton and Conrad Hussey. I want to see how that situation works out because both of those guys are capable of playing nickel as well, but they can also play safety too. I think it's potentially could be one of those interchangeable things where either Thornton could play nickel sometimes and then Hussey could too, and they move them back and forth between safety, kind of just get your best guys on the field. But Omar Thornton, at least from a physicality standpoint, he'll remind a lot of people of how Jacoby Thomas would hit people, and even Keontae Scott as well. He just has that mentality in the way he plays. I think he just needs to clean up a little bit in terms of wrapping up and tackling from what I've seen, but just really physical player, a tone setter. And Conrad Hussey, a lot of potential there, just has to put it all together. Was a freshman, he was a freshman All-American when he was at Florida State. And then there was the whole off-field issue when he left Florida State and then Oregon State for a couple of games and then came here. But everything is sorted out there. I think Miami's going to be fine in the defensive backfield, honestly. It's never an easy thing to replace a guy like Keontae Scott, as we talked about before, Brett. But I think with the guys that you have returning and then what you brought in, it's a heck of a start, a really good head start.
Well, going into last year, nobody knew about Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas anyway. They both came over. A lot of people talk, wow, how are we going to survive without those guys? Well, they just came over, and hopefully they're both.
I'll be honest with you, though. The one of those two surprised me. I'm not going to take the entire credit that I wasn't surprised by Keontae Scott. Like, he definitely elevated even more. But I know when he was at Auburn and when he was initially playing nickel, because he was a JUCO guy. He was a JUCO guy from the California area. Auburn had signed him. His first year with Auburn, he was like all SEC as a punt returner, all SEC as a nickel. And then the next year, a new DB coach comes in and he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to move you outside. And it was a terrible move. Like, he just wasn't a natural fit on the boundary. So it didn't surprise me so much that he bounced back with Miami. I just didn't know when he signed that arguably he was one of the 2 best defensive backs in the country this year. Absolutely. Like, just his impact. He was like an extra linebacker on the field too, aside from his coverage ability as well and jumping routes too. Jacoby Thomas, however, totally surprised me. I didn't know that he had ball skills that he showed this season. I wasn't expecting. Like, I knew he was a guy that could hit, absolutely, but he picked off quite a few passes and broke up passes that progressively throughout the season. I'm like, wait a minute. I think Miami got more than I was thinking they initially got here.
No, definitely a great pickup. So now that we covered the offense and the defense, we've got young Mondo. He looks like is that Mondo or one of his kids there?
I got a haircut today.
Congratulations.
And I
Well,
shaved. I shaved.
we've all seen those pictures on X. I mean, everybody, the paparazzi has been talking to you about you and the messes left and right now.
How you guys doing? Good to see you guys.
Doing good.
Doing fantastic. We're all excited about the what's been happening in Canes football with quarterback 1 coming, wide receiver 2, lots of other pickups. How are you feeling?
Good, but I've been listening the whole time, just putting the little one to bed. But also, like Gio mentioned, not just Barkay, but the kid from South Carolina, kid from the other wide receiver we got in. So yeah, they're looking pretty scary. All fandom aside, the roster, we're getting defensive tackles now, Gio. Yes, Nebraska, Georgia.
Mondo, you remember the old joke? Every time Miami would get a recruit, everyone would always say, "Can he play DT?"
It was like 15 years where we had like no help at that position.
Exactly.
But this team, I mean, now I think they're in the top 4 or 5 in the portal rankings or whatnot. And I mean, preseason rankings don't mean nothing, but you would think they'd be in the top 5, right? I mean, I would think so. I know everybody's talking about Texas and Notre Dame again, but it's going to be hard pressed not to have Miami in the top 5 to 7 at worst with that roster they got.
I think they have to be in the top 5. I mean, really,
has to be.
I think if Mensah is the favorite to win the Heisman, and we've got Malachi coming back, we've got the defense coming back. I mean, you don't have to do one because that's a lot of pressure. But I think we'll be in the top 5.
I fully agree. I mean, but everybody, right now the favorite it's January, but again, the Heisman favorite is your boy Arch Manning, followed closely by CJ Carr. So everybody's on Texas and Notre Dame nationally. You know how that is.
Yeah, but obviously Jeremiah Smith's going to get a lot. I mean, it's hard to say Ohio State won't be the top team, number 1 ranked team.
You know what I say about that, Mondo? Until October, all those dreams are going to be crushed.
Exactly.
So you're on the outside there, Mondo. It's a beautiful night.
Well, it's not as cold as it's going to be on Sunday, right? Everybody's talking about the 20s and 30s on Sunday.
Yes,
that's nice tonight. It's almost 60 degrees right now. So I'm outside.
I think 89 it's going to be. I mean, we're saying that.
I wish I could be inside like you guys, but nah. That's
I'd rather
took
be
me a while to get on the show because this kid wouldn't fall asleep. So, Gio knows. Gio's got little ones, so you know how it is. So.
One last thing I'll mention about the portal, and then we'll move on to questions here and chatting with Mondo. But I like this approach from Miami that they've taken the last 2 years, and it's very much in terms of competition. They took 2 kickers again.
Yeah,
I like that.
They brought in Jake Weinberg, who, by the way, he had like a ton of kickoffs last year for Florida State.
Right.
But only 6 of his kickoffs were not touchbacks. I have to look at the stat here. I know. You know what? I want to pull up the official stat, actually. I have it right here. I can search it.
Well, while you look, Gio, correct me if I'm wrong. I read that he's going to be the kickoff specialist and the kid from Northwestern will be the field goal specialist. Is that
right? So Jack Olson from Northwestern. He was 19 of 21 for Northwestern last season. Weinberg was Olson was 19 of 21. Weinberg was 12 of 19 last year. He has a bigger leg, though, could kick deeper, Weinberg. However, I think the biggest thing that I like here, again, special teams, very important. We need to emphasize special teams, especially after what we saw that happened in national.
Yes.
Got to win all 3 phases. So with Weinberg, I have it here, 61 kickoffs last season. 56 went for touchbacks.
Wow.
He's got a leg on him. He absolutely has a leg. Olson, however, 19 of 21, but has not hit from 50 or beyond, though.
Wow.
So you have one of these situations like the kid's pretty money from like 40 yards in and everything. Like he'll hit it. He rarely ever misses in terms of Olson. But I think Weinberg, you may have a situation where you do have 2 field goal kickers, depending on maybe if Weinberg improves a little bit with his accuracy because he's got a big leg. We'll see. But I love it. The competition. You get Dylan Joyce back, and you have Malachi Tony back for punt returns, and I'd like to see Miami get a little more dynamic in terms of kick return.
It's definitely a good problem to have. Now that, of course, that brings an interesting dynamic of like, what if, let's say, you're at the 30 and it's a 47-yard field goal? What do? Do you give it to Olsen? Do you give it to the other kid? Like that's interesting there.
I agree.
It'll be tough because this year we the kickers changed the last second. We thought it would be one kicker kicking off and one kicker, kicking field goals and extra points, and then it became one kicker. It just was one kicker doing everything. Everybody was surprised when he came in and kicked the winning field goal against Notre Dame.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had a little tough stretch late in the postseason. I wouldn't put it on him against A&M because
that was crazy.
The field conditions were just not good. They were not. Yeah, the weather was terrible.
Those gusts of wind were impossible. You saw the guy that didn't miss the night before for Oklahoma missed 2 field goals, and they said he was automatic. He never misses. He missed his first one all year, and then so it's tough once you kick it up there and you have no control of where the ball is going.
He did have a big kick against Ohio State, though. When we were scuffling there, I think it was third, fourth quarter, and he came up big. Yeah. So
I mean, he just missed this kick in this game. It went off the upright. So so listen, we didn't lose this year because of kicking.
Oh no, absolutely not.
And the kid did a valiant effort, great effort, and everything like that. I thought, and team, but just it was close. What a way to end the season.
I'll mention something that's kind of on brand and theme with Mario Cristobal. So every year when fans have complained about like, oh, we need to fix this or need to fix that or whatever, obviously several complaints from people are going to be about, the special teams, like, oh, the blocking or whatever. Even though, I don't want to rag on the kid again, but I mean, 87 just kind of gave the kid a love tap and just let him through. Just crazy to think about looking back. However, I definitely think, though, they're going to put quite some emphasis on that this offseason, just in general, just from the blocking schemes, how they do things schematically, in terms of punts, in terms of kicks and everything. I think there's going to be a heavy focus on that. I've noticed that just as a trend with Cristobal since he's been here. Every year the fans complain about something. He's like, all right, I hear you. I'm going to fix it. And then goes and fixes it that next year. So, yeah, I like Miami's roster. I think they have depth. Obviously, there's some question marks in terms of, what's their best 5 of the offensive line. You hope a tight end takes the next step. And then linebacker, just the question there is who's going to be the other guy next to Teray. And you have several options. Let them all compete. They usually play about 4, possibly 5 linebackers. You got about 9 on your roster right now. You got Teray, who will very likely start, Chase Smith, Cam Pruitt, Kamal Bonner, Kellen Wiley, EJ Marcelin, Justin Edwards, who I was talking about that they're really excited about, Jordan Campbell, who's a tremendous athlete, heck of a pass rusher too, and the other freshman, the only freshman that's not on campus right now, Karsten Bush, who arrives in the fall. You got 8 guys to figure out one other starter. I don't see how they can't. I think you should be able to find someone. You've had Cam Pruitt, who's flashed over time. I know Kellen Wiley, a lot of potential. Kamal Bonner, they think he could be a guy this year removed from his injury. So we'll see. But I think those are the main question marks. I think the roster is very well constructed. Really deep receiver room, deep running back room, deep defensive back room, deep defensive line. Yeah, the Bain and Mesidor stuff, but I think Miami's got a ton of great talent and depth overall and guys who've actually played real games. So linebacker, some of tight end, and figuring out your best 5 on the offensive line. That's the questions going into spring.
You see, I had already pretty much had that punt block away from my mind. Like Brett says, am I outside? I'm like, yeah, it's about 60 degrees. It's almost Friday. But then you just had to bring that up. So I imagine they're coming towards my end zone at the national championship. The wife's next to me. She's learning the sport. They block the punch. She goes, wait, they can do that? Yeah.
Well, obviously we had a player that thought they couldn't do it either.
Imagine I got a beer in one hand. We're down by 10 in the natty. She's looking at me. Can they do that? I'm like, yeah, Monica, they can block a punt and score.
It's illegal. I was saying, I was on the sideline of that right there in the end zone. I was probably about 2 yards in the end zone and saw that perfectly.
Oh man,
And you could just see it setting up. It was just so quick, just setting up, taking his time. Like he's got all day. And
yeah. No,
anyway.
but it's like Gio mentioned the roster, and tomorrow, I'm sure there's people watching that have season tickets. Like tomorrow's actually the deadline to renew for next year. And just out of curiosity, a little while ago, I went on to look. Every year you look, like right now, there's always lower bowl available. There's nothing.
Really?
Like, unless people don't renew, there's like hardly nothing. There's a lot of excitement. People that haven't gone in years that keep texting me, hey bro, how do you get tickets? Because now it's hot. Now everybody wants to go. So for Gio and you, obviously working in the business, it's great. It's pretty exciting. I will say that, and they're only going to get better and better. I don't see this being a 1-year mirage or a 1-year fluke. And Miami just got lucky into a couple of portal guys. No, it's the sustainability right now looks pretty scary. You hear all the national guys like Gio and talking about it, and I think next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're pretty scary. They're definitely a perennial powerhouse going forward. They really, really are.
Totally agree. All right, so let's get to some of the questions and comments. Mondo, you got anything to add before we go to them?
No, go ahead. I want to hear what Juan Manuel has to say. I didn't even notice that. There he is.
Said, welcome back.
Welcome back.
This QB is special. Saw him play as a freshman at Tulane. He had a really good freshman year at Tulane. Even better at Duke this year when the competition went up. And it's not going to be like there's no familiarity there. He's already played against ACC competition. Imagine him with Miami's receiver room. Juan Manuel, Gio and Brett, does it feel a lot like we were talking about this? Does it feel a lot like 2000 in terms of where this team is? Compare the wide receiver room 2000 with 26 and running back room. If Mensah stays, Miami could do the unthinkable, go on a win streak, 2 natty. I don't know if he'll stay. I know it's a deeper quarterback class next year. If he has a tremendous year, whatever, he could potentially enter. He technically still has 2 more years available. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, though. It's too early to talk.
I think if he has a great year and a Heisman Trophy, he's not staying. He could be the top pick in the draft, even with it. So if it's a great class and you're the top of the class, it's even better.
Yep.
So I compare a lot to 2000. I think yes. I think I think a lot of special things are happening down in Coral Gables.
Absolutely. Juan Manuel, Gio, I'm really excited for the receiver room to pair with Mensah's arm talent. He's very accurate and loves the deep shots. I was talking about that. Talk to me about Wingo, Moore, Paris, and Vaughn. We spoke about that earlier. A lot of good early reviews on Samari and Wingo. Joshua Moore, he showed some flash this year. Has to get a little more crisp in terms of running his routes. That's the thing I've been told and I've heard, that what's kind of prevented him from playing more. You hope that there's continued development there and he takes the next step this year, but a lot of potential with Joshua Moore. Mylan Paris, big guy. You're talking about 6'5", 6'6", can run a 4.4. Wow. Heard a little more raw. They kind of have to mold him. He's kind of like clay right now. But Cam Vaughn, though, in terms of the opinion from Miami, they think he's someone who could potentially take a bigger step here than what it was at his last stop. West Virginia had quarterback problems last year. This is a kid that's 6'2", 6'3", almost 200 pounds and can run. Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Another question. Gio, this was before the show started, but Juan Manuel was here like 30 minutes early. Gio, what is the mood of the fan base? The business, merchandise money going? If Miami makes the natty, will you go to Las Vegas? Absolutely. If they're in the national championship Las Vegas, I will be there. But on the mood of the fan base, elation, excitement, everybody
is energized. Energized is a word. They are so pumped right now.
Beyond energized.
Big difference in this year and last year, how we were feeling when that season ended. When we lost to Syracuse, I mean, the only way you're going to win, the last game is if you win the championship, obviously. Yeah. or you don't make the playoffs. But to win the final game, last year was just such a down year, and it's been a down year for a while. The last year that we were this excited, and I think when we came out of 2017 or 2016, we were quite excited, but not even nearly this excited. We had won the last game. That was the Rick first year. We won 4, lost 4, won 5. We beat West Virginia in the Russell Athletic Bowl. It was great. But this year, even though we didn't win the last game, everybody's more excited.
Yeah, and I would think go ahead, Gio. My bad. Go ahead. No, I would say that the immediate goal for next season would be, as we saw, and again, outstanding playoff run, that gauntlet or whatnot, but it just goes to show how hard it is to win 4 playoff games. So I would say the immediate goal is to win the conference, get yourself that bye week. I know some people are scared of the bye week.
Well, the bye team lost what? 7 out of 8 now?
Well, that's fine, but even then, I mean, it's very difficult to lose. I mean, to win 4 in a row, as we saw. We were so close, but odds are very against. I know Ohio State did it the year before, but it's very tough. It's very, very hard to win 4, especially if you got a couple of road games and neutral site games also, which makes even what Miami did even more remarkable, honestly.
Let's see. Hey, it's Miss Hudson and Big Bill Belichick here in Chapel Hill. Bill is in a bad mood after the Hall of Fame snub. What are places in Miami that are hot? Can Mario give Bill a police escort to feel like a star? I'll say something though. I get it, all the off-field stuff and everything, just the drama or whatever surrounding Bill Belichick the last couple of years. The whole girlfriend thing or whatever. I'm not going to get into his business, but from a pure resume standpoint, not being first ballot Hall of Famer, I'm sorry. It's incorrect. It's wrong. People will say, oh, well, he won because of Brady or whatever. Brady wasn't Brady right away. It came over time. Like, he wasn't like, I'll be honest with you guys. I remember the conversations about this early on when Brady was in the league, that most of the consensus was that Peyton Manning was the better quarterback between the two. And it wasn't until Randy Moss came around and Wes Welker with those the late 2000 Patriots teams when the thought behind it, like the whole Peyton Brady thing, that it changed, where people were like, oh, no, wait, no, like he is better than Manning, because kind of like the numbers started coming. Like he got progressively better over the years. Brady wasn't Brady at the absolute beginning. He had a really good defense behind him too early on in his career.
Very good defense.
Teddy Bruschi, Richard Seymour,
Ty Law,
the safety again, Rodney Harrison.
Oh, Lawyer Malloy. People don't realize how good their defenses were over all those years.
Yes, they had a really, really good defense with him early on when he was young in his career. So not to take away from Brady, tremendous talent, greatest quarterback of all time, greatest to ever play the game. Absolutely. The numbers back it up. However, I don't think Brady happens without Belichick, and I don't think Belichick happens without Brady. They both help along the way.
A couple of things on that. Belichick had the 2 years of the Giants defensive coordinator. They were dominated. They won a Super Bowl with Jeff Hostetler. So that was deep. I know they had Lawrence Taylor and everything, but they were unbelievable. But there was a good article by somebody that was one of the voters. Now, supposedly there's 50 voters, and 40 of them have to say yes for you to be the first ballot. Yeah. But one of the guys said, now it's changed. The rules are that you have to put everybody in your list. So he included 3 guys from the retired group, the older group, the veterans. Kenny Anderson, who was an excellent quarterback. Elsie Greenwood was like a 4-time All-Pro for Pittsburgh Steelers, and somebody else. And he said, so he thought Belichick's getting in no matter what anyway. These guys may not be on the ballot next time, because every year there's more veterans that come in there. So that's why he went with them. So it's 40 guys, 39 guys may have said yes, 11 guys said no. We don't know why. Did they vote for old timers? Did they say Belichick's getting it in? Anyway, did they say, what's going on with that when Brady left, Belichick wasn't the same coach?
Well,
Or did they say the cheating and the stealing of the sign?
it was cheating. And I know a name that's been thrown out is Bill Polian. You know, he was the GM of the Colts all those years. And, of course, the Patriots beat the Colts a bunch. And a lot of people still have it out for – see, I would say to keep him out for a year if they didn't win anything after all that stuff. But they still won 3 Super Bowls after the fact.
Yeah.
So it's not like
runs.
And I heard him – I'm not sure what was on what's his name? My namesake, Armando Salguero. He was one of the presenters that he stands presenting in front of the 50 people. He even read a letter from Brady saying that Belichick should be in. And before he started, he said that 1 or 2 guys literally pointed him out and said, I don't care what you say, I'm not voting for him.
I'm not voting.
So that's it.
Yes, it's an echo there. But yeah, so not I agree. You know, there's the cheating and everything. There's other things, the old times. Listen, Bill Belichick's had pretty good, outside of Juan Manuel and a few other people poking fun at him all the time with Miss Hudson. I mean, you know what? You can't take away their 6 Super Bowls or whatever he's got. Plus, he's got 2 with the Giants, like he said. He's almost got it on 10 fingers, and he'll probably never coach in the NFL again.
No.
But at the same time, he was close to getting the record.
Well, what's interesting is that Robert Kraft
in football history.
Isn't Robert Kraft up this year as well? So you got
Correct.
that dynamic.
They had a vote for both of them.
Maybe he put in some. And there was a lot of rumors the last couple of years where they weren't getting along. So
but it doesn't matter. They may have said, "What, that guy is such a great owner." I think everybody's in the same grouping. What is it? You pick your top 10 guys or your top 5 guys. So they canceled them out.
There was so much controversy that even the Pro Football Hall of Fame just really had to release a letter or something saying that from now on they're going to scrutinize the voters and maybe even make them go public. There's been so much backlash on this.
Like what Gio said a minute ago about us having 2 candidates this year for the Heisman in Mensah and Malley.
Maybe they cancel each other out.
They cancel each other out a little bit. So you never know. And that's what exactly with Kraft and.
I love that the Pro Football Hall of Fame came out with that statement.
They did, yeah.
They do the same thing with the AP poll. Mind you, every AP poll voter had Miami finish as 2nd this year. There was only one voter who put Miami at number 5.
Of course.
Behind a team that they already beat along the way in the playoff.
There's always
see, those guys should lose their vote for good.
Yeah.
I mean, like the NFL, they should just say, let's analyze. Just like somebody said, I don't know who it was, Clay Travers or something. No, it was somebody that said, you need to go ahead and these referees should be interviewed just like for plays, just like players are, just like coaches are. Hey, how come you made that call?
Yeah.
You know, but you're right, voters. You do something so egregious like that, then you lose your voting rights.
Yeah.
I am all for it. We'll start the CanesWear national voting poll.
You know, the one guy that really has gone off on this is he's been making the rounds left and right is Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson has been going crazy with this defending Bill. Obviously, I'm sure they're friends or whatnot. And he's gone on like a million shows. And Jimmy Johnson doesn't really do too many interviews, but he's been like everywhere in the last 2 days.
It's outrageous, honestly.
Yeah.
Was Jimmy Johnson a first ballot?
No, he was not.
Okay, but he won 2 Super Bowls. This guy won 6.
Yeah. Man, he put down 16-0. Yeah. That should be the goal.
I love it.
Mr. HD, Gio and Brett, Yayo's World, Gio, Rich Millennial. What do you guys think will be the toughest stretch of our schedule? I think it's after that bye week, after Clemson, where you got Florida State along in that. Well, there's only one bye week. There's no multiple bye week this time around, unless you want to consider week 0, but that's not really a bye week. After that, that stretch where actually, you know what? I want to pull up the schedule because I don't want to get the order wrong here, but you have the bye week right after.
October 10th, isn't it? The bye week, I think.
Yes.
Pittsburgh's home.
Yes, October 10th is the bye week. So I have it here. Okay. So you have it bye week for October 10th. Then you have Florida State at home. You have Pittsburgh at home. Pittsburgh is a good team, despite, Miami beating up on them like crazy to end the season. They still have some talent. You got to go to UNC on the road, Notre Dame on the road. Then you have Duke at home for homecoming. Mind you, I love that Miami scheduled homecoming for the Duke game.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that wasn't planned.
Yes, that super petty, and I love it. Virginia Tech at home and Boston College. I think the toughest stretch is that Florida State to Notre Dame game. In my opinion, that is the toughest stretch.
Well, Clemson could be a difficult game. I know they haven't been as good, but Dabo is starting to look more at the portal now.
Well, it's definitely that Clemson game is definitely a little tricky because you have to go there to Death Valley.
Yeah.
When was the last time we beat Clemson?
Emory Williams, his first start ever.
That's right.
There's a ranked,
and he got a ticket out of town.
Clemson opens up against at LSU. That's going to be a nice one there.
They were not as good. Who's Clemson's quarterback this year?
That's a good question. Not sure right now.
Okay.
Did Gio Lopez from North Carolina transfer? Or is he still there? Gio, the kid from North Carolina, did he stay?
I think he's still there. Actually,
he's still there. Okay. Well, to me, if you ask me, toughest stretch or interesting stretch, I'll say it's November 7th, 14th, and the Friday night, the 20th. You got Notre Dame, Duke, and Virginia Tech. By then, you figure James Franklin will have them playing part of their best. It's later in the season. Yeah, we should be favored against Duke and BT, but it's still an interesting stretch. And obviously at Notre Dame,
difficult game in Notre Dame. I mean,
at Notre Dame, that's going to be a possible top 5, maybe undefeated matchup. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, even we were the great. I mean, that year the Cleveland Gary, it's very difficult to go to Notre Dame and win.
Well, they're going to be, hate them or not, and Lord knows we all do. I mean, their schedule's a joke. It really is, and they have this stupid new bylaw where if they're in the top 12, they're automatically in the playoff, which
that doesn't make any sense.
I think they're like now getting to levels of being hated by everybody, not just
but
Miami
why
fans.
would they even agree to that? College football, the CFP, whoever it did.
You know what's funny? Notre Dame always talks about like their viewership too. Yeah. Their viewership is not as good as they claim.
Correct.
Yeah. No, and after this stunt,
look at their championship game against Ohio State, and that game did not rank anywhere near the game this year.
No, I mean it's only one person's opinion, but I remember I was in the lobby there at the Cotton Bowl. There was an Ohio State guy next to me at breakfast. He's like, I don't even know how Notre Dame came up in the conversation. He's like, F them. Like they, even and Ohio State people like the hell with Notre Dame.
I was talking to a guy in Utah today, a vendor, and he said, I just want to tell you guys, I'm a huge Brigham Young fan. He says, but he said, I was so happy that Notre Dame didn't get in and you guys got it.
Yeah.
Speaking about BYU, they're the only other real competition on Notre Dame's schedule next year.
At BYU. Yeah.
Yeah. That Notre Dame schedule, it's such a joke.
If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. It's cream.
And not only that, they don't have to play USC anymore.
And USC is going to be better this year. USC is going to be much better this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what?
It's a weak schedule.
They're gaming the system too and everything. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's disgusting.
So if they're ranked in the top 12, they are automatically in. Period.
You know what? I have a new name for them. I've been saying this for some time now. Notre Dame to me is special treatment U. Special treatment
U. I like that almost as much as leather helmet football.
Yeah. Uncle Joey, great season for the Canes last season and are loaded to make run for ACC and CFP this upcoming season. The absolute goal should be ACC. You win the ACC, you're in the
please.
And potentially a bye week too if you win the ACC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Andy Adamas, hello. Thank you for stopping by, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
1 milligram of epinephrine. Yo, to celebrate tonight's live, I ordered 2 hats from CanesWear this afternoon.
There you go.
Awesome, 1 milligram. Thank you very much.
Juan Manuel. Hey, it's Miss Hudson and Big Bill again from up here in Chapel Hill. Do you think Mario and his wife, oh my God, Mr. HD, what is Gio's portal ranking after Mensah and Barkey? Can't get any better than the best quarterback returning in the country statistically.
Yes.
Uncle Joey, Miami Hurricanes sold out for the season.
I like it.
Nice. Mr. HD, Spider Coop. Brett, I'm telling you, you know what? I'll text it to you afterwards. But it's in terms of like merchandising and everything. So the new wide receiver, Cooper Barkate, a lot of people like to call him Spider-Man, and he embraces it too.
Really?
I definitely think there should be some Spider-Man type of.
I didn't realize that.
Some Canes and Spider-Man memorabilia coming up
like that. But he's Spider-Man. That's cool. I'll have to call him tomorrow.
Yeah, they call him Spidey Coop.
Cool.
But yeah, I definitely think he's gonna be a favorite with the fans that are kids as well, just like the whole Spider-Man theme and everything. J Rock 450. We need to grab one more OL. Portal is closed right now. Only thing is potential grad transfers or guys like that who will basically unenroll and enroll at a new school. I do think, though, this is my theory. I think after spring football is over, I think players are going to try to do the same thing. Not saying necessarily Miami, but at other schools, I think players are going to try to do the same thing Xavier Lucas did. Since there's no spring portal window, that guys are going to unenroll and then enroll at a new school. I think we're going to see that happen this year. 1 milligram of epinephrine. Brett, include your autograph in the hat shipment. 2 hats to Boynton Beach so I can tell everyone I met a world-famous podcaster.
Let's see that ship. So it's going to Boynton. Okay, I was just looking that up. Okay, awesome. My autograph. You got it.
One day, 87643. Hold up. We had Sam Levitt verbally committed. Wow. Yes, he did commit to the Miami staff. And then went totally silent when he left on his plane back to Arizona.
Oh, man.
1 milligram of epinephrine. Brooks Austin put Mensah number 1 in the portal. Brooks Austin is a very smart man, and he does very good tape review. Awesome. 1 milligram of epinephrine. QB in the portal. Okay. Juan Manuel. Gio, where do you see Omar Thornton playing? Spoke about this earlier. He is an in-the-box safety and leaving the backfield, but not great in coverage. We played Jacoby Thomas's role because I see Fitzgerald and nickel. Yeah, well, I love that you mentioned Fitzgerald at nickel too, because he played some nickel this year as well. OJ Frederic played some nickel early on in the season too at some points when Keontae Scott would take a breather. However, I don't know the answer to that question right now. I think you want to keep Omar Thornton as close to the line as possible because of his physicality and the way he plays. Nickel or as a box safety, absolutely, but I don't know which one specifically. And I think there may be some type of rotation there, or just they'll move guys around because they have different pieces. And Conrad Hussey could play some nickel as well. So Chris Ewald as well. They have a lot of options. I think more of that will be figured out sometime during spring. Uncle Joey, Little Wayne loves Miami. Yes, Little Wayne loves Miami, and Little Wayne loves Darian Mensah.
I saw that.
Diana
Diana from the warehouse days. Hi, Diana. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Diana. Good to hear from you. 1 milligram. You bought this hat. I'm pretty sure the one I'm wearing right now, the perforated one. I love this hat. And I'm not a hat guy, but lately I've been. This hat is amazing. Super comfortable. It's got the CFP. It's got the 2026 logo on the back, the gold trim. It's got the perforation. Nice. National championship. Great hat. I'm pretty confident you got this one. It's an awesome hat along with that Fiesta Bowl hat. Great stuff.
1 milligram again. I was told Mensah's people reached out to Miami's reps. Yes, I mentioned that earlier. That is true. This year and last, absolutely true. He was interested last year. Miami wanted a veteran at the time. We might have number 6 if they took Mensah last season. And number 2, that's not tampering. Yep, very true. Juan Manuel, Gio, can you tell us about Miami's new spoke about the secondary earlier, and he asked questions here on, does Camden Portis and Jennings play there? Yeah, Camden Portis can play some nickel. I've heard that Brody Jennings, it's one of those situations where they'll see if he's a better fit at cornerback or safety. He could potentially be a safety, but yeah, I think of those guys, though, I think if you ask me, the true freshmen coming in that have a shot to see some type of playing time on the field this year, whether it's special teams or, just in certain games. JJ Dunnigan and Jalen Waters. I think those are the ones at best position. Uncle Joey, Miami Hurricanes scary. Yes, they are. Kim Sanchez. Hi, guys. I just love your show every week.
All right, Cam, we love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uncle Joey, Miami Hurricanes winning every game 45-21.
Ooh.
I agree with it. This could be one of those seasons.
Well, Gio, what do you think or Brett, what do you think about you mentioned Barcade and the addition of the receivers? We saw in the Natty against Indiana, Tony obviously still got his, but the corners really for the most part did a really good job on our outside guys, and they pretty much locked them down. I mean, now that you got Barcade and the other additions, yeah, not to sound too much like a homer, it's pretty scary. You got a kid that threw for 4,000 yards. He's familiar with Barcade from Duke. 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Malachi Tony, probably best freshman or one of the best receivers in the country. Man, all the running backs. I mean, talk about culture and other sports. All the running backs are coming back. I didn't think Brown and/or Lyle. You figure one, if not both, might be gone. They're all coming back.
And the offensive line
it's a pretty scary. If we even get a little bit more from the tight end position, which we know was a big discussion point on this show all season, I think Tony could be even scarier because you can't. It's kind of like talking about pro football with Belichick. You got Devontae Adams and Puka. Who do you focus on? It's a lot going around there next season. It's crazy.
Whoever's open.
I think this. I've said it for some time. If there was one critique I had of Miami's offense this year was
outside.
It wasn't explosive downfield.
Correct.
It wasn't explosive downfield.
But is this going to be more like a Cam Ward type offense? Is Dawson now going to say, I have the tools to run the same offense in 24? But we know Cam was a lot of check off whenever he wanted to, correct? That was in his –
Yeah. So
Carson as well?
Here and there, he would stick more to the script.
Right, and also, you got to figure that the line is not going to be as good as this season because we had we're losing a lot. We're going to be good, I'm sure, but that could lend to.
We're going to have a much more mobile. Beck was mobile. We're going to have someone that scrambles around a lot. I mean,
a lot of improvisation and things that are off script.
We have a chance.
Looking at the numbers, though, he doesn't really have that many rushing yards, so he doesn't seem like he runs too much, right, Gio? Am I wrong or?
Yeah, it's more behind line of scrimmage. He's pass first guy, Mensah, but he absolutely can run. However, I look at it like this in theory. I know Miami fans have always thought this question. They're like, man, if Cam Ward could have had the defense this past year.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Now
maybe, I just spitballing here, some hypothetical, but maybe that's the formula you could see this year. You have a large majority of that defense coming back. You bring in all these offensive weapons. And they basically upgraded on offense. Skill position-wise, they've gotten better. They're better.
Right, and Beck was injured in the spring last year, wasn't he? He didn't really –
Yeah, he missed the entire spring.
Right, so Mensah doesn't have that problem, so that's going to be a plus, obviously.
So Mensah is 6'3", 205, it says. Is that correct?
Yes,
so he's
correct.
A big kid. I mean, Beck was a big kid too. But he's so he can scramble. So he's not one of these small quarterbacks that can run. He's a guy that scrambles around. So, and Ward was what, about 6'2"?
Cam was closer to about 6'1", from what I understand.
Okay, this kid's a little bigger than Cam.
With the incoming receivers, are you surprised that Josh Moore stayed?
I know there was teams that tried to tamper with him and tried to get him to enter the portal, but I'm not so surprised he stayed. I know he's been happy this year here. There was one point where he wanted to play more, but some of that was basically boiling down to the fact that he has to refine himself as a receiver. He just has to get better in terms of selling his routes. Is a good blocker early on in his career, which is encouraging. It's very encouraging. But yeah, and the other thing is fans have brought this up before. They're like, oh, why can't we just throw a go ball to Josh Moore?
It's not that easy.
You know what's funny about that? It's the same concept of Gerard Pringle, for example, who flashed a lot of talent this year too. He's had issues with pass protection that he has to improve over this offseason to continue playing more.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happens in scenarios like that, fans see those big splash plays and I think, man, let's get him on the field more. But you can become one-dimensional as an offense, if you put those guys out there consistently and have them do the same thing over and over again, it's not like a video game. Like teams will scheme around that. It'll say, oh, well, number 3's in the game. All right, well, we're going to put 2 safeties over the top.
Yeah.
We're gonna cover the deep thirds of the field, so we can knock that ball out of his hands if they try to throw it deep. Oh, 22's in the game? Okay. Well, if it's a pass, we're coming right after him because he's not going to be able to block us or whatever. That it's just concepts like that. I look back at it, kind of the same thing like when Chris Johnson was at Miami before he went to SMU this past year. Everyone was like, oh, why doesn't he play more? He was fast or whatever. Football is not all about being fast either or just the splash plays. It's just the routine stuff too.
Exactly.
And his pass protection wasn't there. What was Miami to do? You were going to throw him out on a screen pass every single time?
No.
They're going to game plan.
It's not a video game. I remember against Ohio State, Wesley Bissainthe, I think was it Bissainthe that literally pulverized Bo Jackson. Like Bo Jackson couldn't block.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to block. It's not sexy for fans to hear, but
correct. Blocking. That's why Fletcher is a great blocker. But once a guy goes into the portal, he rarely stays at the same team. I mean, look at Isaiah Horton just now. I mean, you thought, okay, Leftman had a great year at Alabama, and all of a sudden he's gone. I mean, if you're leaving, it seems
Where did he go? Oh, he went to A&M?
I didn't realize he went to A&M. But that's crazy. It's like, okay, they just had a great year in Alabama. Alabama's loving him. And but so once you leave, a lot of guys are just going to keep bouncing from team to team to team.
Well, it's the payday, right? What other reason is it?
That too.
Alabama was going to pay him whatever he wanted. But I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're leaving 1 year, obviously it's for money, right? Even I'll say,
and he has more of an opportunity to be the number 1 at A&M. Yeah. At Alabama, he was kind of like drifting between the number 2 and number 3 guy. Their number 1 this year was Jeremy Bernard.
At Alabama?
Yeah, and then they returned Ryan Williams next year, even though he had a sophomore slump, but
big time slump.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got to catch the ball. This is a big problem right now.
I don't know what happened.
I mean, that's required.
Yeah. Let's see here. 1 milligram. It looked like Lyle started thinking too much instead of just going. That had to do with the injury.
Yes.
Lou from Dade. Good evening. Thank you, Lou, for stopping.
Lou. Did that 43. What are the odds he's still here? Lou, you're still here.
Uncle Joey mentioned Javian Mallory is about to eat as well. We'll see how much he plays. You got to see how that running back competition shakes out.
Yeah.
Carter. 1 milligram. I heard Malachi is also going to be taking snaps at center this season. Uncle Joey, Mally is also going to take snaps at DB as well. He absolutely can. Lou from Dade, when's the Mensah jersey coming into the store?
It's a great question because we will have Mensah jerseys. We have to re-up on jerseys because obviously sold out every single jersey we had. But we have so many jerseys coming for next year. It's amazing. I just put in for an amazing amount of jerseys for next year. With the special jersey that we have coming for the year it's going to be crazy.
Let's see here.
Hopefully soon.
Uncle Joey, guys, do you remember the days of TVD and Jake Garcia as QB?
Yeah, I remember those days.
I remember we thought we were so deep, too. You remember? We thought we had so much depth.
Yeah.
Juan Manuel, the freshman tight end, Gavin Mueller, shot all the way up to 45 in the final rankings. He made Wally Pimp, Lofton, and Gilbert. Tell us his story, because it's unusual, and he sounds like Shockey. Shockey's journey story to UM is interesting. So the background behind Mueller, hasn't played football for a long time, but just absolute physical freak show in terms of like his build. Confirmed just yesterday, 6'6", 260. There's been a lot of early rave reviews since he came in. Verified 4.5 40-yard dash. You know what it is to run a 4.5 at 6'6", 260? That's insane.
Yeah, I think he posted 11% body fat or something like that. He posted. I saw that.
That's just crazy. And
yeah, that is crazy.
The other thing, he won the Offensive Player of the Year in his classification in the Chicago area this past year. And Miami's had quite some success in the Chicago area in recent years. You've added guys like Marquise Lightfoot and Justin Scott. So I think there's opportunity there for him. Elijah Lofton obviously coming back. He had some moments this year that were good, some bad. There was a lot of expectation for him coming into the season. He came in hurt, never really put it all together. We'll see what his role is going forward. You have Luka Gilbert, who you mentioned, who's huge, 6'8", 260, can run like a deer too. Really good blocker early on as well into his career. There's some anticipation there that there's ability there to be a pass catcher as well. So I think that tight end competition is going to be really interesting in the spring. Absolutely. And I think if they can't find a viable guy, like a guy that could be consistent that you could throw to game per game, I'd be surprised at this point, honestly. And then they're changing the tight end coach too. I think that's a sign in itself as well.
Yeah.
Great.
New King God. Gio, I know you're high on the team, but be honest, which part about this team gives you worry? There are no perfect teams. The worry to me is figuring out linebacker. That's my worry. I think the offensive line is going to be fine. I think they're going to figure it out at tight end. The linebacker thing is what gives me worry. That's the one part where I want to see Miami improve year over year at a specific position under Corey Heatherman. I know this year was his first year. He's starting to bring in his own guys. I want to see how it improves year over year because Miami was known to be a linebacker factory. Mullet TV, Duck is here.
Duck is in the building.
Duck.
Welcome, Duck.
Run the football. Run the football.
Yes, Duck. We absolutely established the run game throughout the playoffs. Juan Manuel, Gio, what are you hearing on the backup defensive tackles, not Scott and Mo? So I spoke about Keanu Davis, who I think is going to be a guy that really surprises people. I saw the true freshman of Haitian origin posted. He is 6'4", 303. Yeah, you're talking about Frederick Saintius from the Naples, Fort Lauderdale area. Sorry, Charles and Stansel, what do you hear? So I spoke about those two earlier, and they're really excited about Stansel. They thought he was one of the best D tackles in the country coming in. Saintius, a little more raw. He's going to need some time. Charles could potentially be in that rotation in the pass rush this year. Let's see. Kevin Andino. The job this staff did on retention was phenomenal. Absolutely was. Kept all four corners and running backs. Absolutely.
That is amazing to keep four guys at each one of those positions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Giovanni Foster. I'm ready to see Booker Pickett, Kellen Wiley. Booker Pickett will absolutely be in that defensive end rotation this year. Kellen Wiley, naturally, you'd expect that he takes the next step this year. There's some little flashes, special teams there and whatnot this past season, but definitely has the requisites that Coach Heatherman's looking for. Coach Heatherman likes to have big, lengthy linebackers, guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 230 to 250 pounds that could run and tackle and could play sideline to sideline. So you hope he puts it all together. I think the potential is absolutely there. Just got to see it this spring to see.
When you answer the tight end question, you mentioned Lightfoot. You talk about a guy that has breakout potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lightfoot
is
be dangerous, big time.
Giovanni Foster what was Kamal Bonner doing in practice before he got hurt? Pretty well, actually. I know they really like him as a run defender. He plays phenomenally well downhill. He's quick to strike. However, one of my concerns with Bonner, I want to see if he's improved since he was at NC State, is coverage. I think that's a really big thing, especially if he's going to be the weak side linebacker. Juan Manuel. Gio, what do you think of the O-line? Max Buchanan, Irvin, Manaya, the door, Rodriguez at center. Max Buchanan leapfrogged a lot of people on the roster coming into this season. They're really high on him. I think he has a chance possibly to be a starter this year. We'll see. I think he could be one of the starters at guard. We'll see how that shakes out. But Joel Irvin, the coaching staff, they're really excited about his potential long term. He has the size already. I think it's more refinement in terms of technique when it comes to him. Minaya, I haven't heard too much on. Rodriguez at center. There was a point in time before the season I actually heard that they didn't feel there was too much of a drop-off at center after Brockermeyer in terms of Rodriguez, which was why he was moved back there. It's his natural position. So we'll see. He's still got to compete, though. Him and Alafaituli and Jonathan Klein that they brought in. I know Max Buchanan could play some center if they really need him, but he's more of a natural guard. So we'll see. New King God, I need Pickett and Lightfoot to both gain weight and get over 250 for next season. You don't want to rush them either to gain that weight, though. You want it to be good weight. Anthony Monsanto, Gio, according to what you're hearing, who are the 2 quarterbacks Miami's targeting in 2027 that they're recruiting very hard? Trent Seaborn, the quarterback from the state of Alabama, is the very obvious one. The interesting situation there is because Alabama's going after another quarterback and Elijah Haven. Sometimes some quarterbacks feel uneasy about being in a 2 QB situation, so we'll see. They're evaluating several other quarterbacks. I know they really like what they saw from Davin Davidson, the 6'6" quarterback from Mooney High School here in the state of Florida. I think there's a lot of potential there. They want him. They want to see him more during the spring evaluation period, which will be coming up next month when these guys start practicing at their high schools and everything. There's several other quarterbacks, but the name to know right now is Trent Seaborn. He's absolutely the guy they want. But again, committed to Alabama right now. They're going after another quarterback to add with him. We'll see how that all plays out. It's still a little premature. They're still trying to form the board a little too.
Gio, when we bring in a quarterback, local right now, we're going to have obviously a couple of young guys. They won't play much if Vince is healthy the whole year. How much reps are they getting in practice? Are they with the scout team, or are they getting the reps?
Yeah, so
they're actively participating with the team.
Guys like Luke Nickel and Judd Anderson this past year, they got a lot of scout team work. So spring will be interesting because obviously there's no scout team really during spring. You're not going up against opponents. So these are very key reps. I think they'll be split very evenly between Nickel, Coleman, and Anderson. They'll give each guy a fair chance at potentially being QB2. We'll see how that shakes out. I know Nickel's a gunslinger type from what I've seen up close at Green Tree. I think he just needs to cut back on his turnovers quite a bit. And Darian Coleman's definitely has got tremendous zip on the ball. It reminds you of how kind of Cam Ward would throw the ball, but he has to build himself up quite a bit through strength and conditioning. He needs to put on significantly more size, I think, just for durability. I'm not talking about talent-wise, but just durability-wise long-term. And then Judd Anderson, still very raw. Great athlete. I think he could make a tremendous tight end if quarterback never works out for him. I think he could be a really good tight end. But
really,
I think those reps will be very evenly split, and I think everyone will get a good general idea of kind of what the pecking order is with the spring game, and then the real spring game, which is the scrimmage the week before, what they don't want to show the fans.
Beck didn't play in that. Ward didn't play in that either, correct? He came late?
No, Ward did play in the spring.
That, okay. Yeah. So Mensah should be ready to play in this.
Yes, he should be fine. Let's see. Gio and Brett, what are you guys' predictions on the stats of all 4 receivers that we have in our receiver core this year coming up? And how productive do you think both Gavin Mueller and Luke and Gilbert are going to be? I still think it's too early to predict any stats or anything. I kind of just want to see what the competition is shaping up like during spring. Kind of the idea of like who's going to play, who's going to be more rotation. I think especially because there's no spring transfer portal this year, you're going to have a better idea about this team in spring this year compared to waiting till fall.
I love that there's only one portal. That is so much a positive for these teams and the fans.
New King God, I feel for these ACC teams this year after last year, and not almost making it. Mario knows we need to dominate every team and make a statement for the playoff committee. And there's no Louisville. You're very right in everything you're saying, New King.
Yeah, the SMU
Absolutely
loss was
correct.
the best thing that happened to this program. I'm telling you.
Great point. 100%. Yes. Thank you, SMU.
1 milligram. Our schedule with 4 non-Saturday games is even more proof that the ACC is a garbage conference run by worse than garbage people. That said, does the additional $30 million received for this run make the ACC financially preferable to moving to another conference? At least for the moment being, absolutely. To make $30 million extras is a lot of money for the football program.
I will say, I know it's tough to put the schedule together because certain other matchups were already involved, but it is kind of weird to have your marquee team in the conference after that run at Stanford on a Friday to start the season. At night, it's probably going
the national TV game?
It's probably going to be a 10:30 Stanford West Coast. Like,
what are we not?
Miami Stanford on a Friday? That's your open.
So here's what I know. What was being considered before I had mentioned it.
It is
like
10:30.
I had mentioned it before it went like official that the game was going to end up being Stanford away game night Friday.
Right.
However, what I was hearing beforehand, like the week before, speaking of people like from UM that handle a lot of the internal things, there was options there that were being considered by the ACC. It was between to play Florida State at home, which would have been that Labor Day Monday. Then you had the Stanford game away as Friday night, which ended up being the one chosen. And then you had the other one, which would have potentially been playing UNC on the road to open the season as well. I get it. UNC and Stanford, not really sexy opening games, especially on the road and everything. I understand maybe how fans would see it too. They're like, man, it'd be nice to have Florida State, Miami on Labor Day again. I think the pushback there was in terms of TV numbers because there are some marquee week 1 matchups, just nationally, that I think there was some pushback there. And not even I think, I was kind of told some of that too, that there was a little pushback on potentially doing a Miami FSU Labor Day. Even though I think it would have done well because look what happened with Florida State, Alabama to open the season. Like no one was expecting that.
You never know.
Just off that concept that people who watch college football, they'll think, hey, maybe Florida State could surprise week 1 again.
I said that to you, but to Mondo's point about them putting us on 3 Fridays, 1 Thursday, I agree. But I've seen so many times Virginia Tech seems to always play Thursday, Friday. University of South Florida is playing Tuesdays. I know those aren't the marquee names Miami is right now, especially. But are we getting are we going to be the game on TV, national TV, when we're playing Stanford that no one else is going to be pretty much on?
Well, the problem is that it's a California game, so it's probably going to be a 10 at night.
Correct.
They're not going to put the game at 7.
Is going to see us. And we do, they sometimes help with recruiting. People see Miami, they don't even know about Miami. And also, instead of being on the ACC network somewhere hidden, WBFS or something, are we going to be now on a bigger stage is the question.
And what's even and very strange, the following game is a Thursday.
That's crazy.
Against Florida A&M. Florida A&M is playing on Sunday. Then they're playing 4 days later. Like, who scheduled that on their side? That's crazy.
Yeah. Are they playing that Sunday?
They're playing Sunday and then Thursday against us. Yes.
That's a quick turnaround.
Who's playing Sundays in college football?
I'll tell you what, though. Because when I looked at the schedule, honestly, I get it why fans are up in arms about, all the Friday games and the Thursday game and whatnot.
I know Mario hates it. I'd say that much.
3 of those 4, they're knocked out within the first month of the season in September. I'll take it. The only one you'll have remaining is that Virginia Tech game later in the year. I'll take it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. You know, a game that'll probably go under the radar, which nobody will talk about, but we will be favored. We will win. Wake Forest had a lot of very close games this year. They should have beaten SMU. They should have beaten Georgia Tech. They're not that bad. I mean, we're going to beat them, but that's not.
I think Wake Forest is one of those teams that every 3 to 4 years, when they have a veteran-laden team of guys that they have brought in that really have bought in and have played there for years and established themselves, they end up having one really good team. They'll be an 8, 9, 10 win team. Maybe this is a year they could be that.
Do they have a QB coming back?
I'm not sure. actually. The running
Yeah,
back was tremendous, though. I really like the running back.
and their defense wasn't bad. They had a lot of close losses. They should have beat Georgia Tech and SMU. They really should have.
Let's see. PG3, 3LM. When is the white jersey coming back in stock?
The white jersey will be back in stock. It's just the plain number 1 jersey. Probably won't be back in stock or any of the jerseys. Probably my guess is until July, which is right around the corner, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
We'll
January's almost over. Tomorrow's what, Saturday?
I know.
Like
it's crazy.
It's fast. It's quick.
It's love it when you
Day 12. Let's go CanesWear. Anthony
All
Mensah.
right, we like that.
Gio, do you have any updates on who Mario is going to hire to replace Cody?
Hey.
I have absolutely no idea right now. Being very honest and frank, I have not been told a single word about.
Hey, Brett, if Gio has absolutely no idea, Lord knows me and you got no damn idea.
Yeah, it was me and Mondo. We're not even going to take that one, Anthony.
New King God, who's the biggest threat you see on the schedule outside of ND? For me, it's Virginia Tech and North Carolina, just because where they pop up during the season. I'm going to go outside the box. I know a lot of people are clowning Florida State and whatnot. I'm going to say don't sleep on them. And what I mean by don't sleep on them is that I think it's going to be a tougher game, as always, than people are anticipating, just because of the rivalry and getting up for that type of game and everything. I do think they're going to play Miami tough for X amount of time in that game. That don't sleep on them, that it's going to be a for sure cakewalk. I don't think so.
Yeah, people are still
for sure.
As far as North Carolina, people are still freaked out about our recent past history against North Carolina. Yeah. But Belichick has a major rebuilding job, and you heard all the stuff last year. Was he even fully invested in trying to be the coach? And I'm not buying North Carolina whatsoever, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. March cannot come fast enough. Absolutely, right around the corner for spring.
Absolutely, Mr. Hey.
Giovanni Foster Gio, how does this Miami team match up with Notre Dame this year? Well, Notre Dame will have CJ Carr back. They lost their top 2 running backs. They lost 2 of their top 3 receivers. They do get Jaden Greathouse back. They will have a good secondary again. They have some pretty good linebackers as well. I'm not a big fan of Notre Dame's defensive line, though. I know they hype it up or whatever, that they got guys. I don't think they really have guys on that defensive line. That's just my opinion. But I like how Miami matches up. I do. But it's so far away, though. We'll see what the makeup is of their team by the time they enter.
In Texas A&M or in Notre Dame this year?
What's that?
Did they lose Notre Dame at Texas A&M this year? Or was it
at home? At home. They lost by like 1 point, I think, at home.
Yeah, okay.
But like Gio said, they play at BYU this year.
Mm-hmm.
New King God, the best part about getting Mensah is seeing all the tweets and treats on 24/7 from rivals saying Miami is ruining college football. You know, it's funny that bring up, just people, the rival fans or college football fans, they bring up Miami this, Miami that, but there's other schools doing the same thing.
Yeah, nobody cares about those other teams. Nobody cares about them.
Yeah, I actually want to read it. I don't know if I didn't catch his name. A VT player. It came up on my timeline before I jumped on the show. He said that during this, they were talking about tampering and this and that. I want to see it after this. He said that during the season, there were members of other schools going to his games, and I want to see it because that shows you to the levels of, if you want a kid, you're going to do whatever you got to do apparently to get him. So,
what about what Dabo was screaming about in Mississippi?
Well, that's a whole crazy scenario in itself. It's crazy. And you got to add the dynamic that, Dabo has not really gone into the portal.
Correct.
It's crazy. The one time that he does, now this should happen. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't want to deal with it, I guess.
1 milligram. In the 80s, Miami danced too much. In the 90s, talked a bit too much. And now it is that Miami throws money around too much.
They claim
to hate us for different things over the years. Really, it's just jealousy.
It's always something.
Great point.
That is a great point.
Vegas came. Notre Dame added a lot of solid players, and without Mensah, I didn't feel that great about beating them, especially on the road. But now I feel much more confident about beating them. I agree. They had
absolutely.
Juan Manuel. Damon Wilson reminds me of AQM, Al-Quddin Muhammad of the Al Golden years. I could see that comparison a little bit. I think AQM was a little bit of a better run defender, though. Did you see Lightfoot snap a 6 foot, 212 running back like a fly and continue to rush Mendoza versus Indiana? Yes, I saw that, and very impressive. Power that I had no idea that he had. Giovanni Foster, Gio, would you rather have Kellen Wiley or Chase Smith next to Tourette? I don't know. That competition's got to sort itself out. I don't think there's any specific name right now that would be that projected starter next to Muhammad.
Every time I see Kellen Wiley, I think of Kellen Winslow.
Wiley has more upside. It'd be great if he can earn the reps. Absolutely. Mr. Hey, is our running back room top 3? Not top 3. It's the best in the country off of what's returning.
Wow.
What they've done in real games and significant games. Yes.
So you say they're not top 3.
It is the best running back room in the country.
Yeah, because you could say that Brown and Lyle can start anywhere else, right? Pretty much. I mean,
Giovanni Foster, I think it's time to unleash Bobby Pruitt. Yeah. Mr. Hey, where do you place our wide receiver room? I mean, you have 2 of the top 3 receivers in terms of production returning in the Power 4. It's a top 3 group. Absolutely.
We have a top 3 group running for a top 3 group passing wide receivers and a top 3 quarterback. I mean, and probably a top 5 offensive line.
Robert, hello. Good evening, gentlemen. And I use that term.
Robert, thank you.
What is with our linebackers for next year? Do you eat crabby? We kidnapped in that position. I know the back looks like it's strong. Yeah, so he spoke about the linebackers. It's going to be a lot of competition. To figure out who is the guy opposite of Mohamed Touré. And then who are your rotation guys, too? Because Miami realistically plays about 4 linebackers, sometimes 5. So,
yeah, I don't want to speak as far as that point. I don't want to talk about the players. I want to talk about that. Good evening, gentlemen. I use that term loosely. That's excellent. That's a great job by you.
Juan Manuel, Ahmad Moten reminds me a lot of a bigger Russell Maryland. Maryland, like Moten, developed into a dominant player. He can anchor the line, penetrate, and take on double teams. His motor for a big man. Yep. Ahmad Moten has become a tremendous player.
Yes.
1 milligram. After Pitt, you insisted we get into the playoffs. I disagreed and may have called you some names. I was wrong. You were right. I apologize. You know a thing or two. I do not.
Juan Manuel there. Okay.
Everybody talks about Heatherman, but Gio, I want to ask you, what do you think, if you could speak on the impact of Damian Lewis and Jason Taylor on these kids?
Lewis in particular,
that
defensive tackle room was playing phenomenal. Like even the way Justin Scott came on, like, I think it was after like game 5 or game 6, there was like just a light that switched, and Justin Scott was just tremendous. The rest, like the impact plays that he was making, and then Ahmad Moten, the consistency he has to be a game wrecker. Like people bring up Mensah and Bain, but Ahmad Moten is a game wrecker too. He absolutely is. He creates disruption on the interior. Absolutely. He's going to be a nightmare for teams this year. I love what Damian Lewis does. And Jason Taylor, you know what? If Ruben Bain told CBS, because I mentioned this story earlier, I've had the chance to talk with Ruben personally several times over the years. And he's never been the type of guy to hype things up. He's very realist, even keel. He told the CBS contingents down here in South Florida after the national championship, some days after, that he believes that the defensive line this year is going to be better than the one that Miami just had with him and Mensah, the rest of the guys.
Really?
I thought that was interesting because Ruben Bain's never been the type to be like a hype man or anything. He is who he is. He's very reserved guy too. He's not like rah unless he's on the field. Off the field, he's very reserved. So I found that interesting. I think I think Jason Taylor's, it speaks for itself. I think the production even shows too.
Oh,
I remember there was a time even fans were asking to get rid of
They
him.
were wondering about him. Yes, I remember
Yeah.
that.
Let's see. Carl MIA. Gio, our coaches aren't leaving, right? The rumors are scaring me. As long as Jason stays, I'll feel better, but I don't want to lose most of them. Just steal Georgia's tight end coach and we should be good. I would absolutely love if Todd Hartley came back to Miami. You're talking about an absolute monster on the recruiting trail and a developer of talent. He can develop guys. He's shown it consistently. If he were to be the guy, I would absolutely love it. But in terms of other guys leaving, I haven't heard anything else recently. Vegas Kane, you mean steal the coach they stole from us? Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Hartley was here first before Georgia. 1 milligram of epinephrine. You guys talking about Todd Hartley? Why do we want him? We don't need anybody to drop bags anymore. Juan Manuel. Hey, is Cole McConaughey and Pickett still on the team? Yes, they are. People keep talking J.J. Edwards, but the other freshman linebacker from Louisville seems promising. You talking about Carson Bush? Yeah, he's not here until fall, though. Tech Star, looking forward to seeing Kellen Wiley next year. He looks like a round 1 draft prospect physically. Physically, yeah, he looks like a Greek god. I hope it all comes together with another year of development. Hey, how are you? I don't remember you ever being just fit. Are you? Let's see. KCG 305. Gio, how about Ryan Mack? Is he healthy now, and what should we expect from him? Ryan Mack is healthy now. That's Rod Mack's son. Not sure. I got to see what comes up in practice this year. I know when he was finally cleared, it was close to like the beginning of this past season. So we'll see. Okay. 1 milligram. A gap 100 times a game might hit different when the offense can't pitch the linebacker and sit all game with 9 in the box. Very true.
Yes.
Very, very true. I expect lighter boxes for Miami this year because of the respect defenses will have to put on Miami over the top of the defense. Absolutely. Goes hand in hand. Juan Manuel, that's all good. Vegas Kane. Will Mensah have to wear a different number? I think Tony should keep 10. Plus, I know there's people who got his jersey. Yeah, so Darian Mensah wore number 3 in high school, wore number 10 when he got to Tulane, and then wore 10 again at Duke this past year. Malachi Tony wore number 1 in high school later on in his career. He originally wore 10. I can't confirm yet or anything if there's going to be a jersey swap there or anything of the sort. If Malachi Tony were to change his number, the very likely number probably would be number 1. He's worn it before. Would it make sense? Yeah, but we'll see. Not sure. And I don't think Josh Moore is going to change out of number 3 to another number for Mensah. I think if there's a number that Mensah gets, 10, maybe 11, I don't know, or no, not even. What if Mensah gets 1 and Tony gets 10? Keeps 10. Who knows? I think the likelihood is that, yeah, Tony probably goes to 1 and Mensah wears 10. Just my educated opinion.
I heard like 8,000 number 1s today, so let's hope so.
Yeah. 1 milligram. I'm also looking forward to the defensive line. We got a lot of young talent. Yep. Let's see. B Rabbit. I'm in Jacksonville. It'll be 23 degrees Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
B Rabbit. It's gonna be cold as heck up there. B Rabbit.
It's going to be a
then he mentioned the wind chill. He said wind chill will be 8 degrees. Wow.
What's the snow? I think Tampa's going to be on when it comes Saturday.
Yeah, Tampa's going to be freezing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get 29 to 30, the coldest it's been since 1989.
Yeah, Sunday morning, they said it feels like temperature will be like 27, 28 degrees around there.
Giovanni Foster. Hey, Gio, who is a better wide receiver duo? The Texas group, which is Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman, or Malachi Tony and Cooper Barkey? So I think Ryan Wingo has shown a lot of flashes in his college career, but he hasn't entirely lived up to his hype yet, like guys like Jeremiah Smith and Malachi Tony have to this point. Whether that's quarterback situation or whatever the scenario is, but Ryan Wingo, very talented, just hasn't had the production like those guys. Cam Coleman I think is a phenomenal talent. I do think there's some little drop issues here and there with him. He makes the crazy catches, and then the routine ones, you're just like, what the hell? Like, how did he drop that? I'm taking Miami's group, and I'm not just saying that because I like Miami. I'm just saying it. The statistics back it up too.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 and number 3 in the country in the Power 4 returning for next season in terms of production. Everyone in the country. That's Malachi Tony, Cooper Barkate. They were number 1 and number 2 in the ACC as well. And mind you, that gap between 1 and 2 is not very far. Malachi Tony and Jeremiah Smith's numbers were very similar, actually. 1 milligram. Damn, there's a ton of talent in that wide receiver room. Who's going to be number 1 X? Very true. Juan Manuel says he hopes Mensah gives Miami 2 years. I think everyone would love that, but hard to see if he has a really big year.
I hope he has a fantastic year and his number 1 draft pick in the draft, and we win the championship. I'm calling it right now.
5 rings, 5 rings. I think after all is said and done, Jamal Merriweather will be the steal of the portal. Kid just needs to be coached up. He's talking about the 6'7" offensive lineman Miami grabbed from Georgia.
Oh, okay. Georgia.
In Georgia.
Yeah. He could play left guard, he could play right guard, and he could play right tackle. He's definitely going to be in the conversation to potentially start this year. We'll see what happens with the competition.
He's going to be, what year is he in right now? 3rd year?
He has 2 more years available.
So a lot of these guys in their junior years, when they really start to, take that big step.
Yeah, so, I've always liked to go by the rule of thumb that you can truly get an idea of what you have in a player entirely by their 3rd year. I mean, unless you're a Malachi Tony or Jeremiah Smith, that you're ready out the gate. But not everyone.
The skilled position players a lot of times than the guys up front. Especially when they're young, 18, 19, they're going against guys that have been set. And you can just see the growth of Ruben Bain. He looked like, not that he ever looked young, but he looked like a much younger version. Yes. Now he looks like, I want to say yes, sir, to him. He's like my age.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, like Malachi Tony himself, like you look at him when he took off the helmet this year. There's obviously looks like a kid so young. Mm-hmm. Probably going to look like a grown man by the time he's done here in Miami. Like he was 17, turned 18 in the middle of the season and everything. Absolutely. It's incredible what Malachi did this year, though, just considering the age and everything. It's
at that age, that's
crazy.
Insanity.
He's got to keep on working. You look at Riley Williams. Everybody thought this kid is unbelievable. Jeremiah Smith came back and did it better this year than he did last, which is rare. So the pressure is on Malachi. And we know that he works so hard from everything we hear. So I believe if anybody can do it, it's him.
1 milligram. Is Josh Moore a possible number 1 X receiver? Yeah, he'll be competing there. Carl, MIA, Gio, Miami's looking to the front. Okay. 1 milligram of epinephrine. If Mensah gives us 1, it means things went really well, though. Absolutely.
I was going to say that, because if somebody else said it, let's get 2 years. Now, that probably means that we didn't win it this year. Because if you do, then more likely than not, he's done.
Exactly.
Canes Jones. What's good, La Familia? Go Canes. Thank you for always stopping by, Canes Jones.
Canes Jones, thank you for the late night trip.
Yes, sir.
William T. Felder, Lyle and Pringle kickoff return. I think Miami has several options for kickoff returns. You got punts figured out, though. You don't take Malachi Tony off there. He can house at any given point.
And he don't drop the ball.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most important thing. Yes.
Giovanni Foster. Hey, Gio, CJ Carr or Mensah? Darian Mensah. Even though CJ Carr is a good quarterback. Any Miami fans that try to peg that kid down?
Some people still think he's a game manager. I disagree. I think the guy really
I don't think he's a game manager. He has more legs than I thought he would, actually. Because when I saw him play in high school, it was like 7-on-7. He would play with California Power, that 7-on-7 team. I had no idea at the time that the guy was like mobile too. I was surprised. Juan Manuel, hoping Kevin Beard rotates receivers. Giovanni Foster. I don't know why Kevin Beard doesn't like to rotate. Aspire Consulting. He played a lot of young receivers this year. Yeah. Let's see. Cooper is for sure better than Wingo, and I want to say he's better than Coleman. And not more talented, but he's the better college player right now. Malachi is better than all of them. I agree with that assessment. Claudio Rabstein. 5 stars in Miami will amplify. Got to keep committing 5 stars into my absolutely, and they will. I think I've said this before, not even thinking. I do believe that Miami will sign their best class under Cristobal this year. They're positioned very well for high-profile
player in at each position right now. They're close to it.
What?
The Hurricanes, right? The number one was it offensive lineman and the number one wide receiver or something I read today.
Oh yeah. So Mark Matthews, he absolutely loves Miami. I'd be surprised if he went anywhere else but Miami. Nick Lanier, who has other schools coming after him. Like I know LSU is really involved there, Florida State, Syracuse, but I'd be shocked if he didn't end up at Miami. Then some of the top defensive ends in the country, like KJ Green. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the kid from IMG now. Zyron Forstall. And DJ Jacobs, who surprised Miami, committed to Ohio State. But as I mentioned before, that one's not anywhere close to over. They've still been in contact since. They're in the conversation for that. They're in the conversation for the number 1 cornerback in 2028 in Amir Sears, who plays here in South Florida. Very, very good chance he is going to reclassify. So he's good enough to still be number 1 at cornerback, even with reclass. He's that good. And there's several other names, but they're also in the running for the number 1 running back in the country, Kamon Spell, as well, a former Penn State commit. So there's a lot of different guys and everything. It's just off the hoof there. I'll go more into detail later on a different show, but they're going to be fine. They're getting a ton of interest, more than ever, because of the playoff run, because of what they did this season, and the excitement that's building around Miami. They'll be fine. I do absolutely believe it's going to be their best recruiting class since Cristobal's arrived. I think top 5. Giovanni Foster, Heart of Sports. I respect your opinion, but I think Coleman is really okay. 1 milligram. You can't rotate receivers. All right. Giovanni Foster, Barkay is a chain mover. It's like he finds the safe soft spot on the defense every time. Yes, but he can get downfield too. One Manuel, will Jordan Campbell play linebacker or edge? He's going to start off at linebacker, very likely middle linebacker, from what I understand. Heart of Sports, I agree. These were trash. He should have never went to Auburn, but yeah. Tamilawak LLC. Gio, was there a rule that said Jason Taylor couldn't coach Conrad Hussey in college because he was his high school coach? Yeah, I heard about that, but there's things that go around that too. For like example, Roland Smith, who's on Miami staff, he coached Ruben Bain at a certain point throughout his high school career at Miami Central too. So
now there was something originally that that he couldn't go ahead, and Taylor couldn't go ahead, and he had to be a what was it, a consultant or something like that at the beginning.
Yeah,
because so the first couple of years he was that. He wasn't actually on the field being a coach, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Juan Manuel Dawson has dimples and looked like Barney Rumble of the Flintstones. I like to sleep with Jason. What the heck? Oh my God. That's wild. 1 milligram. NCAA rules do not strictly forbid a high school player from following the coach to a college team, but restrictions on hiring a high school coach. Okay. Vegas, Kane. I will be there in Vegas if they make it. I certainly hope you would be in Las Vegas if the Kings make it all the way to Vegas, Kane.
Vegas, Kane.
Yeah, I keep seeing that name pop up. I'm like, man, if we make it to Vegas, that would be crazy.
1 milligram, such as the 2-year, 3-year, or 4-year no recruit rules, depending on the sport and division, often make this direct, immediate transition difficult. Giovanni Foster, hey, Gio, how do you feel about Jarquez Carter? Pretty good. Miami really wanted him out of high school. He was their top defensive tackle target for the high school recruiting class the previous cycle, not this one that just passed. Guess it all worked out, you know. Dante Simpson decided to leave the program for monetary reasons. He thought he wanted more or whatnot. And Miami got their guy they initially wanted, their top overall guy the previous year. So it worked out for Miami. Vegas Kane. The Canes could end the 2026 season in Las Vegas and start the 2027 season.
Ooh,
Very true. They got the game
against
with
Utah.
that would be the Vegas Quinella or Exacta.
Yeah.
However you're scoring at home.
Oh yeah.
Giovanni Foster. Hey, Gio, what if Miami played LSU in the first round of the playoffs? I think that would be interesting to play against Lane Kiffin, especially with some of the heavyweight bouts that Mario Cristobal and Lane Kiffin have went up through.
Considering
this
everybody
offseason.
was comparing so many people just a few weeks ago or a few months ago with the SMU, we should have got Lane. We should have got Lane. Lane is still in LSU, even if we would have hired him, I think.
Yeah. And what I mean by the heavyweight bouts, too, just Miami and LSU battling for Jordan Seaton. They also battled with LSU for Damon Wilson. The Sam Levitt thing, like one or two other guys, too, that LSU was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, for the Hurricane fans that still
Well, yeah, and Lane Kiffin posted a picture of himself at Miami Central a couple of days ago, recruiting or whatnot.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin loves to troll. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely entertaining in that aspect. Yeah. Anthony Monsanto, Brett, also the media doesn't exactly like Belichick. And remember, the two cheating scandals, Deflategate and Spygate. I forgot about Deflategate too, yeah.
Yes, the Deflategate with the Tom Brady. But I have a feeling Tom Brady gets in on his first ballot.
Oh, of course.
I think so. Bill Belichick is in the Hall of Fame every night with a dime piece. Howard Stern, Gio, I'm concerned who's going to be our left tackle and right tackle. Yeah, I think they'll figure it out, Howard. He said, I know Mario's pissed with all these Friday games. That kills us in recruiting. Absolutely, for the coaches to be able to go out to the games. He said, I have a feeling that they're doing that on purpose, especially that Virginia Tech game should have been on a Saturday. Agreed.
If we're as good as we want to be, I think players will wait for us.
Yeah. New King God said, hopefully we can get a couple O-line players to unenroll and enroll here. Johnny Jackson, the Emperor, ACC schedule ruining Miami recruiting. Very true, because those high school games are on Thursdays and Fridays for the most part. It's Mulawak, 5 stars on the starting defensive line. Yep, we mentioned that earlier. Embarrassment of riches. Is Miami having a junior day? I haven't inquired or asked about it to this point, but because, they were still dealing with the transfer portal stuff. They were coming off the playoff run and everything. I know Florida's all giddy and excited because they had a junior day recently, but Miami will have a form of something soon. I just got to check the recruiting calendars, though. I don't know if there's going to be another dead period before spring practice. I got to check. The Cooler Mel B. Oh, thank you. Hoodie Girl stopping by. Crazy to think that offensive line could be the weakest position group. I don't think it's going to be the weakest. I don't think it will be.
Hoodie Girl, welcome.
Johnny Jackson, the Emperor. Vance Spafford on kick return, Pringle on punt return. Don't take Malachi Tony off punt return. Yeah, absolutely not. 5 rings. Never was a fan of Sam Levitt, so glad he decided not to come. I think he's
I thought his completion percentage is so low. I just didn't think he was the guy. I'm glad we got what we got. Great point. 5 rings.
1 milligram of epinephrine. Yes, sir. That's the hat. Yeah, Brett, you were talking about the correct hat earlier.
There it is. I love that hat.
Here.
Thank you for your order. 1 milligram.
Yanira Ramirez, the game plan is easy. Run up the scoreboard and let our developmental players get more game time. Retention is key. Very true. Tamila Wack, listen, Ahmad Moten is Damian Lewis. If you didn't get to see Damian Lewis play, I highly recommend you Google him. Straight dog trenches. Damian Lewis.
Yeah, no. Damian Lewis doesn't get mentioned like the Russell Maryland.
Correct.
And those, but let me tell you, Damian Lewis, I don't have to Google. I saw plenty of Damian Lewis games. He was a bad mofo. He could play. Like, he was serious. So that guy, he's right.
Absolutely. And New King God, does CanesWear sell full-size canes?
Yes, we do. I know we just ordered we got about 100 helmets during that helmet run. I don't know if there's still left. Let me see what's in stock here. I'll answer that in a second. But if not, we'll get some more in. We had the black helmet. We had the white helmet, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. We have the gray helmet right now in stock, which is very nice. The full size. We've got the, let's see, Hurricanes Grace, the silver gray one, which is really nice. We have a white one in stock. I'm sorry, that's a dolphin helmet. Excuse me. We have a black one in stock right now, the full size replica. We have about 2 or 3 in stock right now. I think they're all online also, and also in the store in Davie at 2655 South University Drive.
Let's see here. The cooler MLB. That's why Marty Brown gets carries. You were talking about running backs blocking. Yeah. Marty Brown is a good blocker as well. Chris Johnson left SMU too, and he still doesn't know how to cut. Yep.
And once they leave, they keep leaving. It's amazing.
Yep. They bounce around in the portal once they enter.
Rooster went to SMU, right? Did he leave there too?
Yeah, he left there too. Yanir Ramirez, first game prediction: Miami 62, Stanford 9. That's bold.
I'll take it, Yaneri. If that's the first game, remind us if that is the score. It's a one score $100 gift card for Yaneri.
Brett, we're taking the over week 1.
No, we're taking the over.
So Blue Green Street, he said, "What's the dates for spring game this year?" April 11th. Just look at the calendar. And based on the date that I've heard that spring practice would open, it would fall on April 11th.
11th. I thought it was the 11th, not the 18th. I thought I saw it.
No, it would fall the 11th, from what I understand, because
we're talking about the real one, or they put the schedule out the other day.
Oh well, the real one would be the week before, which would be April 4th.
Okay, I thought it was the 18th, but I could be wrong.
So I would imagine that's going to be on campus again, right? It's not going to be like a Hard Rock Stadium, nothing like that.
Yeah, no, it'll be on campus again, from what I understand.
Okay.
They like that intimate setting like that, and they like it as an event for bringing out the boosters and donors and everything. But I'll give you guys kind of like a breakdown of kind of like the spring schedule, how it is year over year at UM. So they always, for the most part, when it comes to spring, not fall, but spring, they'll start on a Wednesday, which is usually the first week of March. They'll have 3 consecutive practices that are non-pads, just by the NCAA acclimation period. They can't be in pads yet. Then after that, they go on spring break. They'll be on spring break. The week after that, they return, and it's usually a schedule of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the practices. And sometimes Sunday, they switch it up. Maybe Sunday will be a scrimmage or whatever. So you'll have that, and the way that follows through, it's like that up until they get to their 15th practice. And technically that 15th practice is what's considered the spring game, which would fall by these days.
I just texted you something.
Let me take a look.
A spring ball. I don't know where we saw it, but
let's see. Practice number 1.
This breaking the action is brought to you by CanesWear.
Give him the address. Give him the address.
And please download our app. We got a quiz coming. We got a Super Bowl quiz. We're trying to put a square poll in there too. We're trying to do. I've also acquired some things that we bought out, some 2025 championship team items with all the signatures. We're going to be doing something with Dolphin Cancer Challenge. So stay tuned. A lot of exciting things going on. And that was brought to you by CanesWear. Armando Shops.
I'll tell you what, Brett.
This not real.
That's interesting. The change. I'm not going to talk about it publicly yet, but very interesting, that change in terms of the schedule. They haven't done that in a long time. Like after the break. Wow, that's definitely different. They haven't done that before.
Well,
I like it though. I like it. It gives the kids more of a break coming off of.
Nobody knows what he's talking about, but we like it.
Yes.
You like it, Mondo?
Hey, I'm sure you'll tell me after the show.
Blue Green Street. Don't worry. I was close about the date, but it's the one that Brett mentioned. I was about a week off.
But it does say subject to change.
Yes.
And they said after we consult with Geo. I don't know what that means.
Blue Green Street. Great job, CanesWear, for the national championship game. It was a madhouse, and y'all kept the line moving.
Thank you
Yep.
very much, Blue. It was you know, we did so much online. A few people are not happy that they got their, you know, it was delayed and everything. So our goal is always number one in customer service. That's what it's about. So we tried our best. Thank you so much, Blue Green Street. Thank you for that, for those kind words.
Kerry Green, Neiman Lawrence, and Nick Lanier should stay home. I feel that will be a test for where we are as a program in years past. Those guys leave. I do think Miami has a great shot at landing both.
Really?
There has been some discussion in the past if Lawrence may reclassify down in 2027. I don't think he will, based off what I've heard recently, but we'll see. New King God, y'all think they're okay? Zach T6824. Miami buys a new QB every year.
Sounds like a Hurricane fan.
Yeah, I don't think he is. No, Miami doesn't just buy a new quarterback every year. They have a proof of concept in place. That's why quarterbacks come.
That's what you build the trenches, and you build it, and they will come.
Let's see, New King God. Wake Forest got the QB from North Carolina, Gio Lopez.
Yeah,
there you
that's
go,
what I was
Mamba.
asking earlier. Okay, so that's interesting. All right.
I mean, everybody's getting the quarterback from somewhere. Ohio State won the national championship last year, the year with the quarterback from somewhere. Everyone's getting someone from somewhere.
So he went to Wake Forest. So we played Wake Forest and UNC. So that's interesting right there.
Vegas Kane. Why can't we get custom jerseys? Not everyone wants number one or a pre-assigned jersey. That has to do with, all right, so NIL and everything. Basically, what stops someone from getting a custom jersey and saying, oh, I want this last name put on it. And it's actually the number and the name of a player currently on the team.
But this year we will have numerous numbers of players that can't say right now, but it's going to be the most exciting jersey grouping we have ever seen.
And hey now.
It'll be the most exciting jerseys you've ever seen. Stay tuned.
I've heard some things. A special jersey, possibly. Zach T, how effing lame can you get? Buying a new QB the last 3 seasons is effing.
Oh, Lord.
Exactly. You know, I think this is a Seminole fan. Newsflash. The final 4 teams in the college football playoff, they all had transfer quarterbacks. Deal with it.
It's funny, like if fans of other schools
about the guy Indiana had.
If these players be going to their school, they'd be the first one wearing the kid's jersey or hat or who knows what. So give me a break.
Great point.
Let's see. Canes Jones. New King must have some dirty knees. I don't see anyone else messages getting rid of Howard Stern. Mensah got a lot of baby fat. Need to get that kid in a little bit of better shape. We don't have the offensive line we had last year. Deontay Kincaid. How are we looking for Nick? I already mentioned that. Howard Stern. Can we put a Bella Danger at left tackle? Oh my God.
She would swallow everyone.
Jeez.
Howard Stern. To me, Damian Lewis was the best defensive tackle I ever seen in Miami. I started watching after 95.
Wow.
Damian Lewis.
We've had quite a few defensive tackles, but Damian Lewis was great. We've had so many with Cortez Kennedy, obviously Warren Sapp, Jerome Brown.
Yeah, Jimmy Jones, Greg Mark. There's been so many. It's crazy.
So many great. But yes, we've got between Damian Lewis and Jason Taylor, we have as good of players coaching that coaching these guys as anybody.
Mm-hmm.
First round pick he was too.
Yeah.
Howard Stern, Brett, when are we getting the Cheeseheads Miami Dolphins logo
That's actually
shirt?
not a bad idea.
He said basically
he said, everybody asked me, do I want to do something with the coach? Because we did the Miami Mike shirts. We did. That's actually not a bad idea. I'm going to make that. I'm going to make that call to Smack and see what we can come up with. Great idea.
he put here basically the Green Bay.
I love that idea.
He mentioned we're basically the Green Bay Packers now.
We are. We have the crowd, and especially if we get the Packer quarterback and Malik Willis.
The Miami Bay Packers.
The Miami Bay Packers.
Oh my goodness.
Matthew Carter. What about Coach Field coming back to coach tight ends again? Well, technically he wouldn't come back because he's still on the staff. He's with the recruiting staff. He is in an active role right now in terms of going out on the road and visiting these kids at the high schools. But
we're talking about Coach Field, the strength conditioning coach?
No. He was
okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. Howard Stern, Chase Smith, Matthew Carter. I know he's in it. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he knows. Lorraine. Hi, guys. I see we are winning the offseason again. Sad news about Lou Holtz. God bless him. Wait.
Lou Holtz?
No, he's in hospice. Yeah.
Man.
I remember years ago when I was at University of South Florida, and I was interviewing with this company to sell life insurance while in college, and Lou Holtz did this when he was at Arkansas. He did this video, and I said, wow, this guy is a great speaker. He obviously was a Canes nemesis when he was at Notre Dame, but yeah, sad Lou Holtz. I didn't even know that he was ill. I mean, he's not young, but it is too bad.
Howard Stern, the 10 fits Tony. I agree. I'd love for Malachi Tony to stay in the 10. I think it's iconic. Messi's worn the 10.
The question is, did Mensah have a deal before he came?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Mensah and Tony have discussed parameters already.
Yeah.
In terms of the number, yeah. Howard Stern, John Summerall gives me a lot of Ron Zook. This Ron Zook vibes. Yeah. Ron Zook was a good recruiter.
Ron Zook was a great, yes. But I like that Ron Zumi Italian.
One man well. Go look at Jerome Brown, Russell Maryland, Cortez Kennedy, Warren Sapp, Vince Wilfork. Then rethink your Damian Lewis category. 5 rings. With all this momentum, it would be nice to see one of the 5-star recruits commit to the Canes. True, but it's still early right now. John Summerall gives me a lot of Ron Zook vibes. Mario's better. Not let him sell these kids because he looks like a good car salesman. Chad Kane also would give Mally another jersey to sell. Very true. Howard Stern, 1-1. I said before 1995, man, look at it. Howard Stern, Vince Wilfork did great. Yes, he did, but he didn't play that much, and he was only here for 2 years. His freshman year, he barely played. That's true. That was a conditioning thing. 5 rings. It would be nice to see Tony in the number 1 jersey next season. That number fits him to a T. Juan Manuel said, hey, I don't think Miami has a true rival to compete on the roster. Team building business here is why. Location, proof of concept, reputation, surplus of money, ahead in NIL, and portal GM. Very true in all aspects.
Points, yes. Even though we definitely don't have close to the most money versus other schools.
Yeah. Howard Stern, Jamar Thompson from West Boca. Remember the name? Yeah, Ohio State's after him too. I know you're talking about the D tackle. Miami's very much on him though. Juan Manuel, can we deport 87 by plane to China?
Sheesh.
He's not on the team though. He's done,
No,
right?
He's out of eligibility. Heart of Sports, we are going to have several 5-stars come in 2027. Just watch. I agree with you, Heart of Sports. Very much agree. Howard Stern, 1, China is too nice. Transfer him to Bangladesh. Muscle Entertainment. I like the name. Hey, man, when are you going to get some more beanies? Last time I was there, you only had gray.
Well, we got 100 in before the game, so we did get 100 in. We sold them real fast. So definitely with the trips to Texas A&M, which wasn't that cool, but the trips to Dallas and then to even the Fiesta Bowl was a little cool. We did sell out quickly on beanies. But then we got 100 in and we sold them out probably right before the game. But we are getting lots of beanies. We're ordering a ton of beanies this year.
Black Raider Steel. Who the F wants a damn brat as your head coach. Lane Kiffin is an effing spoiled brat. Look who his father is, Monty Kiffin. Yeah. Juan Manuel, did Nkosi Perry pause his acting career? Has he met Abel Danger? Those two have really hit it off.
Oh,
Where's
jeez.
Where's Nkosi Perryman?
I know he was all right. So I believe he went undrafted. He finished up at FAU. I think he did a little bit of practice squad in the NFL. I'm not sure what he's up to now.
You see, we thought all these guys, were going to be so great, and it's sad that then they move around and they don't. With the transfer portal, I don't know if it hurts these guys or helps these guys.
Let's see. Nay Malley, 4155. Yeah, need to reload with orange and green beanies. It's cold out here.
Yeah, we definitely need to reload with orange and green beanies. I wore mine to run last night. But yes, 100%. It's going to be cold. Thank you.
Let's see. Howard Stern said, I saw Lane Kiffin last night in Hialeah. Let's just say he loves that Peruvian white. Juan Manuel, let's see. S. Taylor, 2645. Bryce Fitzgerald should start over Poyser. Damari Brown should move to linebacker or safety. Chase Smith should play defensive end. I don't know about that. I don't think any of those will actually happen, to be honest. Howard Stern.
Sorry.
Oh, my God. These comments.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Luke is taking some of it. I mean, I love the way former Canes players are going after him right now in defense of Kevin Beard.
Yeah. Chris Gons, go Canes, guys, at South Bend, Notre Dame, November 7th in the cold. I can't wait. Great test. Great game.
We better get for that game. We better get a lot of cold weather gear. I think that's what is it? The end of October?
No, November 7th.
November 7th? Okay. Got to get some cold weather gear for that one.
Martin Dubé, I love his comment here. I put Andrew Luck in the same category as Jeff Brom and Rhett Lashley. The Stanford game is giving me BYU 1990 vibes. That was against Ty Detmer, wasn't it, right?
Yes, and that's when they won the national championship. BYU. Yeah,
we lost that opener. That was a rough one.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned on that game too. Friday night there, it's first game, But every game is going to be like that. Hopefully, we come out and do what great Cane teams have done in the past. And we don't have to worry too much after the third quarter.
Let's see. Manny said, my boy Mondo, who's your QB2 behind Darian Mensah?
That's a hell of a question, Manny. Based on this experience, you'd probably have to say nickel at this point, right? I mean, but by all indications, Gio, right? Isn't Darian Coleman the second coming from all we're hearing? But if you're saying he's got to put on weight and stuff,
yeah, I mean, his arm talent is special, but
yeah, I would say nickel at this point. But obviously, goes without saying, we don't want to find out during the season to put in a number 2.
Scary thought, because we have all the young guys. Not that everybody. I mean, I liked Emory, what he did. He beat Clemson and what he almost beat Florida State until he got hurt. I mean, were you feeling a little more comfortable with him as the backup, versus the younger kids?
Who, nickel, you said?
No, Emory. If we would have had Emory, he transferred, obviously. Who are we going to? That's a great question. Is it nickel?
I would say nickel. I would absolutely say nickel at this very second. I would say nickel. Yes.
We shall see. I think that's going to be very political, and when the depth chart releases game 1, we'll see an or between 3 names. It'll be Judd Anderson or Luke Nickel or Darian Coleman.
Let's hope we never have to find out.
Yeah, no, obviously, I'm telling you that right here, January 29th. Spring ball can come, and Darian Coleman can light it up, and just like that, he's number 2. So I'm just telling you what I think right now.
I like it, Mondo.
The Cooler Mel B, Hoodie Girl. Ty Simpson was the only QB in the college football playoff to win a game at the school he originally committed to. Very true. It was all transfers after that one win.
Wow.
Very, very true.
Great point, Cooler Melby. Wow.
Martin Dubé. Everyone's complaining about Miami players, but they were very quiet for decades when the SEC was giving South Florida players brown bags of cash. Absolutely, Martin Dubé. You had street agents running rampant in South Florida, selling players off to the SEC, and you also had street agents loading up kids into a van to take to SEC schools, and they'd take them to McDonald's, and that's where they would get the brown paper bag from in a McDonald's.
Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. It was the head of the NCAA was in a love affair with the SEC.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, Vegas Kane. Jerome Brown is who I think the old timers like the most. Yep,
Jerome Brown would have been, I think, one of the great defensive tackles in the NFL history if he didn't go. He was going to be special.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He played for your Eagles, Mondo.
He played Reggie White. Well, they both. It's crazy because they're both passed young. They passed away both young. And Reggie White said for years that Jerome Brown, if he would have lived, would have been one of the best probably ever.
But Reggie White played his whole career and retired. Jerome got killed in his third season.
Second season, I want to say second, third.
It was third season actually.
Third season, okay.
This is the wildest comment I read tonight. Howard Stern, Brett, I want a custom shirt of a cheese head with a dolphin and an uncircumcised penis that looks like our head coach and our GM.
Yeah, they're here.
You know, this might be the first episode that Juan Manuel doesn't have the wildest comment of the night.
So I may be able to do something about the cheese head with the dolphin, but I don't know about the other part.
This show's crazy.
It's after midnight. It is after midnight.
Us 12. Yeah.
Let's see, New King God. Y'all think Ahmad Moten could be ready to have a Gerald Willis type of year?
Ooh.
I mean, Gerald Willis racked up so many tackles in the back.
He had a great season. I think, yeah. But is that the goal we're looking for with Moten?
No, I think it's more so just controlling the line of scrimmage because it's like, yeah, you can get upfield and everything and rack those up, but it's just the discipline and playing well against the run too.
I can't believe Gerald Willis did not do anything. I think we were all shocked when he didn't get drafted. And then I think he went to Baltimore as a free agent. You saw that was perfect, and he didn't make it in the NFL, right?
No, he
came over from Florida, right? And then he came to us, but he was awesome for us.
Brett, you got another special request. Howard Stern said, Brett, I want to buy the Abella Danger jersey, number 69.
Is that what somebody was talking about earlier? We want customized jerseys.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to work that. We may be able to sell those jerseys for 10 times the money.
Howard Stern said, but in reality, I'm effing pissed at Miami Athletics for letting us get so many Friday games. They only have so much control over it. It's the ACC that takes most of it. New King God. Emery, he didn't beat Clemson. The defense did. And plus, he probably would have started with Nickel this year.
Mario's going to have to say next year, is he have to say, listen, and interview him, you know what? I hope they don't give me all the games on Saturday again. And they'll say, hey, let's give them the Saturday games.
So the Friday games are what? Stanford, Wake, VT, and that's it, right? Those three?
Thursday, FAMU, correct. Those are the three.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good quiz, though.
Well, and like I said earlier, the good thing is 3 of those 4, they're already handled
first month.
Season. It's going to be weird, though, if you're a Cane fan and, like, going to home games, you're going to be like, what the hell? When are we going to play on Saturday?
It's only we got a Thursday FAMU game, and then we have one home game at the beginning. Who is that against on a Friday?
Well, Central Michigan will be September 26th, I want to say. Right? That's a Saturday. Central Michigan is Saturday, yes.
So the Stanford game's away. 2 of those 3 games are away, though. Those Friday
right.
nights.
Yeah, at Stanford, then Thursday home against FAMU, then I believe Friday at Wake Forest, and then Saturday Central Michigan.
It'll be weird. Saturday is when you're waiting for your team to play and they're not.
Yeah. Let's see. Howard Stern said, Gio, do you remember Trooper Taylor for Auburn? That man was the king of bags. I do remember him, the receiver coach. Yeah.
Just one last thing on that. If they do vote us number 1 at the beginning, which I don't think so, Ohio State, I think, or someone, they were number 1 all season pretty much. But if we were number 1 for whatever reason, and we're the number 1 team in the country is playing on Friday night and Thursday night and Friday night, that would be hysterical.
Yeah.
Let's see. Vegas Kane. About the SEC players getting paid, Why didn't Saban get investigated for owning car dealerships and Bama players would regularly post pictures of their new cars? Mind you, back then it was always the Dodge Chargers.
The
The Chargers.
they all
When
had-
they didn't make money pre-NIL. I'll tell you exactly why. Because a good friend of his and Mark Emmert, who was the president of the NCAA, was there at LSU when Saban was there, and they're both very good buddies. This is why you never really saw the SEC teams getting in trouble or anything of the sort or being under a microscope because it was to protect the product they had. That's basically what it was.
Yeah, and now they got this giant TV contract. They're trying to push them even more. When the SEC, I mean, could be the furthest falling conference right now because of where everybody expects them to be and where they are. But still, when Emirates was doing that, it's like someone, I'm surprised, didn't come out with a lawsuit against him and the schools for how are these kids driving cars when if you're going to McDonald's and getting money and getting a meal, your team can go on your school.
Yeah, and then Saban was smart. Once Saban knew what was coming with NIL, he's like, okay, I'm going to do TV now.
Yeah.
By the way, I like on TV a lot.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He asked me if we can co-host our show, and I said, listen, that's getting a little too far.
Chris Gons. Guys, some old school Cane fans feel like this Miami team could be the 87 team, winning the Natty, beat Oklahoma, coming off a Fiesta Bowl loss Natty to Penn State, Vinny Testaverde's Heisman season, and Steve Walsh in 87. Well, I think no Miami fan would complain about that outcome.
And I think, also, that game, there's other games, but that's definitely a possibility. I mean, I do feel that if we don't, I mean, the goal this year is not only to win the ACC, the goal is to win it all.
Yeah.
Which was not what we would.
Winning it all, Canes fans will be disappointed. And that's not an easy thing to do. But I think Canes fans will be disappointed if we don't win the championship.
Yeah, which is now a different discussion than going into last year. Like, did we sit here and say, let's win it all? I mean,
no.
We were saying playoffs, we'd be happy.
Wow.
Now it's gone up a level. Now it's like, okay, let's win the damn thing.
In the final three comments of the night, one Manuel, Howard Stern should be banned for salacious comments, especially his accurate description of D-Train. Howard Stern said, why did Gerald Willis not make it in the NFL? There was some off-field things there and everything. Some things that kind of prevented him from getting drafted. And the last one, I love this one.
Me too.
Corner Mel B, Hoodie Girl. It's going to be weird ending the season with 3 home games. I feel like we are always on the road to end the season every year. Very, very true. It's a very different schedule makeup this year.
Yeah,
Very
Cooper,
weird. It's not going to be a little cold weather.
Hey, seriously, props, because as you guys know, it's with the little ones here, it's tough for me. It's rare to get to road games, and I see Mel B online. Like she goes to all the games, home, away, and the playoffs went to every single game. I went to Dallas and back. I was dead. Like the flying and all that. So mad respect to her and any fan that does all that, because going to away games and flying all that, that's like devotion to like levels of that's not easy. So much respect, seriously.
I totally agree on that. Total respect. She does a great job. She's always
She was at
always supporting the Canes stores, if it's ours or if it's the other stores. Wonderful person, and definitely goes to the game, supports the Canes.
This is big
Like
time.
everybody on the show does. I mean, ton of people on the show. Just I don't know everybody's name, even when if they bought from us or so. Their names are different here and everything like that. So it's hard for me to know who everybody is. But everybody on here, obviously, we've got a great group of people that are watching the game, that are watching this podcast all the time. We're very happy, and I know everybody obviously knows a lot about Canes football and sports in general.
Let's see here. She was at 13 of 16 games this season. That's dedication, absolutely.
No, I gotta ask, what happened to the other 3? Come on now, you're slacking.
She missed Bethune because of the flu and missed at VT and at Pitt.
All right,
13 of 16 is really good.
Ricky Singh, though.
No, Ricky Singh. Oh man, that guy. Sheesh, crazy. That's
150 games or so, or maybe more.
Almost 200, I think.
He was 100 when I was in the warehouse. That's right. It's got to be over 200.
All righty, guys.
Well,
Well,
will never be the same. I agree on that.
that's it for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Make sure to always shop at CanesWear in Davie, Florida, 2655 South University Drive, right next to La Spada's Hoagies, or shop online at CanesWear.com or the new app, the CanesWear.com app on the Apple or Google Store. Thank you, guys. As always, Brett.
Thank you.
It's been fun. As always, I took several questions here and everything. Mondo, thank you for stopping by, as always.
Thank you, guys.
Now it's to look forward to spring. Exciting times.
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to great people that come to our show. Mondo, you are awesome. As I saw someone on X say, Mondo, you are like the biggest celebrity in the making. Or so you're a star, Mondo. Mondo says, me a star?
So in the making, that means I'll get to Gio's level one day, right? Is that what you're saying?
Gio, anything else you want to tell everyone since you closed this out so well? Anything else you want to tell anybody to catch anything of yours?
No, that's about it. We'll be back on again very soon.
We're gonna come out with a real schedule soon, maybe.
Yes, a real schedule coming very soon, and potentially some more frequent episodes and everything. I think people will really look forward to a regular schedule. Shows got traction throughout the year. I just want to say thank you to everyone, as always, for supporting and stopping by and watching. We appreciate it. We love you guys. And as always, go Canes.
Go Canes.
Go Canes.